We all are gathered here to conduct 3-day international virtual workshop on soft skill, research skill, and effective classroom management in the age of artificial intelligence. This workshop, jointly organized by Lavender Literary Club and Cap Comorin Trust in India, and Malaysian Industry Relations Human Resource Association in Malaysia. Today, we have three sessions and three speakers. The three speakers are Professor Dr. Balakrishnan Parasuraman and Kanika Bahala ma'am and Dr. P. Harshini ma'am. To introduce Professor Dr. Balakrishnan Parasuraman sir, I would like to welcome Jessia student from University of Malaysia, Kelantan, to introduce Professor Dr. Balakrishnan Parasuraman sir.
Thank you so much to our to our MC today. Yes, so I will introduce Professor Dr. Balakrishnan as our first speaker and our patron for this 3 days workshop. Professor Dr. Balakrishnan Parasuraman is the Professor of Human Resource Management and Industrial Relations at the Faculty of Entrepreneurship and Business, University Malaysia Kelantan, UMK. Currently, he is the Dean of Center of Postgraduate Studies CPH, UMK. He was graduate PhD from the University of Wollongong, Australia, and SC, Industrial Relations and Human Resource, University of Stirling, UK. Bachelor Social Science Honors, USM Malaysia, Postgraduate Diploma in Education and High Diploma in the Human Development sphere. Professor Dr. Bala published around 20 books and more than 70 articles in journals and proceedings. Prof. Dr. Balakrishnan is always invited by TV and radio channels, Astro Awani, Bernama, RTM, PH Raga, Mina, FN, and many more. To discuss on the labor as a human resource, education, entrepreneurship, and other current affair issues. He also received research grant from the International Labour Organization, World Bank, Ministry of Human Resource, Ministry of Higher Education, European Union, Japan Universal Foundation, University Malaya, Europe, Europe Program, Korean Labour Institute, Japan Labour Institute, and others. So I welcome Prof. Dr. Balakrishnan. Thanks to you, Doctor.
Okay, can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks, Jessica. Who is my master's student. She's currently studying in University of Malaysia, Kelantan. Thank you, Jessica, for the short introduction. Normally, long introduction, I make it short and sweet. I don't want too long. And also like to earlier the person, moderator, we introduced about a program. Okay, of course, as usual, I'm the patron for this the whole workshop, virtual workshop, appointed by Lavender Literature Club and also Cap Comorin Trust and Malaysian Industrial Relations HR. So I'm look after the overall workshop that conducted by these three associations. And historically, I believe, first of all, I'd like to greetings from Malaysia and also my fellow friends, students from India continent, and maybe some of them from Africa, and also from Malaysia. So historically, we see that we started these three association work together during the COVID-19. COVID actually opening everything, opening a network. I believe if there's no COVID, there's no today these three, especially I'd like to thanks to Dr. Frank Jason, who is the president for Lavender Literature Club, and Dr. Regina, especially Dr. Regina for the Cap Comorin. They are very young scholars. They are actively involved to organize these. with not with not tired. They're not tireless, and they're doing a kind of social work, CSR, to all of us. And I believe today we have around 30 people. I think it's very important for you to come for this international virtual. I'm always thinking when will be physical meeting one day that we all can meet together. I love to go back to India, where I come from. Originally, my forefathers all come from India, southern India. I love to go there and to see all of you there. And of course, recently I would like to congratulate India for Chandrayaan 3, landed successfully and make a world record. So India already in the world map now. Everybody now talking about India, the whole world. If you open the social media, you can see that how our scientists from India, they're able to land Chandrayaan 3 in the moon. Okay, and I think more things will come. So you see, we all, I don't think that we are like backward, or we are living in the country that very tough life. But actually, no, it's all start from the classroom. Today, you look at the scientists, how they can invented the rocket, and how, why, and how. What are the things that they make them to be a top scientist in the world? Not only Indian, also in India, but all over the world. Look at the Google. Google, I think the guy actually from southern India, Tamil Nadu. Yesterday, I watched one video sent by my friend. Okay, it's about the vice president for America. I think all of you know where she come from. I was so touched that she talked about India. She talked about a grandfather. She showed all the photo, and she come from Chennai. Okay, and the route where we come from. So imagine our vice president today in America, number 2 person from India. And then of course our prime minister from UK. So don't ever look down on yourself. We all actually can be top 10. Always you think you're backward. No, actually no. We are actually, yeah, we are a big family. I'm from Malaysia, a small country compared to India. But what make difference between you and me? Actually, the make difference actually start from the classroom. The classroom actually not at the university level. The classroom started from the womb. When the mother conceived the baby, and the classroom started. Yesterday, I was talking to one of the lecturer, senior lecturer. She conceived a baby now. She said, Probala, it's very hard to carry the baby at this age. I said, no, you're not carrying the baby. You're carrying the human resource, a future leader in the country. Don't play around. And you talk to your baby. You talk everything. Especially talk about what they call good things. No corruption. To be a good person. Always talk the good thing about to your baby. And the baby will come out, it be someone. So the classroom, actually not like COVID-19, we talk about visual. Visual class already started at the womb. Like how the Chandrayaan 3 landed in the south pole of moon. There's a darkness inside, but he able to go and penetrate and found where is the place, and it landed safely. Same thing also, the baby also will landed safely after. So the baby already started. That's why I always tell the parents, when you want to develop your nation to be a good person, you started from the womb. Talk good thing about things. Talk about all the nice thing about your country, about your things, And amazing, when the baby come out, he will be better person. And that's how the human resource started. And that's how the classroom started. And at the home, and the kids going to the kindergarten, kids go to school. And today the parents so stressful. I like to share my kids. All my kids I never sent for tuition. I never sent to extra class. I never want to do that because I want to enjoy. They want them go to what they call the classroom. I don't want put them pressure on that. But today, what happened? All the parents put pressure. Since they're young, the kids, so many pressure. By the time the kids grow, go to they say goodbye. I'm leaving. I can't cope with this kind of thing. So this is a good example how I treat my son. He become top student. Number 1, he got 11 A's, grade A, and now he's doing engineering, something like very tough. So I'm not boast myself saying that, but as a parents, I'm a professor, but I don't put pressure. Even my daughter for this year, she is going to be O level. And same thing also. Only the last moment she go for class, extra class, and to enhance. So the classroom now totally changed. Last week we have a big forum, national forum, by Ministry of Economics Affairs and also Ministry of Human Resources and also other joined together. We talk about how to boost the productivity among the young people, among the talent and so on. So finally we found that that's not easy. The young one actually totally different than what you think. Today the classroom, I already told them, you understand them, not they understand you. Cannot. Professor, senior professor, already almost 11 years I become professor. I'm an academic almost coming 30 years, plus school, another 3 years, almost 33 years. I was in academic line for a long time, and I see the evaluation of the education changing tremendously. And it become unique, peak when after COVID-19. So today, my dear fellow friends and lecturers, you have a long way to go to guide our young people into this journey. The journey is only one, to reach the destination where you want to go, to bring them a good person, a noble person, a respected person, a good leader that will lead our country, lead our world towards a betterment of the quality of life. Not only they bring back the good name for the country and also good name for the family and also everyone. So where we are now standing now. So the classroom is not like those days one-way traffic. One-way traffic means you go post everything to them and they just follow. Gone are the days. Now they are waiting for you to generate, to accelerate their ideas. You giving a challenges question to them. I started doing that in my classroom. When I start my classroom recently, last after COVID-19, I would like to share to you all. I'm running all online classes. It's very difficult online classes. You know why? They miss out the good value to coming back to the campus. You see, campus life is not just getting a degree. No way they come and get degree. No. Campus life is a holistic way. They're going to the library, they gather with their friends, they're independent, they look after themselves, they ask about themselves, where you want to go, everything totally, because they're away from the parents. They stay alone. That is an education. Not education you're giving them in the classroom, A, B, C, D. No, not that's not education. That is the only small portion of that. So the virtual class, where we want to go now, I'm just give you a way forward, because I'm going to I'm going to retire another 4 years from now. After that, I'll do my other things. I'm going to have more time with my family, and also, with other things, I will do my own. But I'm telling you, you guys so young, you guys just started a career as a lecturer, just started looking for something, and now you all so much pressure to publish in Scopus and ISI and too many things, and you lack out on the student development, student personal development, personality, engagement, touching their heart. No, we never do that. We are working our own career now. I'm very pity. So last month, 2 weeks ago, my VC Vice Chancellor appointed me to be a dean for the Center of Postgraduate. I'm thinking the way how to bring the postgraduate into the life, in their life, what they can do. Today the world changed. Today change. I'm bringing a new idea now. I put my forward strategic thinking that student is number one. We are actually facilitating them. What they want, we fulfill them. So I'm bringing a different ideas. For example, our university entrepreneurship university, already accredited by the world and also by the Malaysian government already. We are in a small town, a small state. It doesn't mean that we're a small town, we cannot make the big things. No, it doesn't mean that. India, everybody looking at India is like, third world country. No, who said third world country? No, you have all the brilliant. That's why today everybody talking about India in their heart. Just small, bigger thing happen. How proud you are. And now what is your role? Going back to teach your kids, give them empowered, give them all the challenges, questions, Ask them come out their own strategy, and then they design the curriculum. You are just facilitating. If you're going to start pushing them, your thought on them, everything will fail. I'm not talking about just Malaysia or India or whatever. I'm talking about the worldwide. Where is world moving towards? Things change very fast. AI, artificial intelligence. I'm keep on telling all of friends here. You may lost job. I may have lost job. Artificial intelligence will take over. There are more brilliant teachers can be created through artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is a language, computer language. People can put all the thought like human being. They can talk, they can nice, they can smile, they can engage, they can do anything. Just anything. But human not like that. So where you want to go now? Where are you putting yourself? Are you struggling to get yourself to put yourself first, or you want to put yourself with our student together? Until now, I already keep on telling in this group, where is the network? Nothing happened. I'm very upset. Like I said, I can voice up here. Every time I come this kind of thing, I said, why not you guys do network with other universities like Malaysia? So why cannot do mobility? Bring your student to the Malaysia. Mobility means not the face-to-face physical, virtual. Why you cannot bring your student, my student, get together? Look at Jessica here. Why I bring her? I can say she's just master student. No need to come and any. But why I bring her to show that you are not living in a small world in only Malaysia. You have to look for the big picture. So I'm thinking in that way. I'm thinking that vision, where we want to go. Suppose the whole world must unite together. And India got a lot of access in terms of resources, in terms of education, intelligence, intellectual, everything there. Because I've been traveling from North India to Middle India and South India. I've been traveling up and down. I was there in few years back in Mumbai, in New Delhi, in in Bangalore and South India. And soon after, I'm going to go to Kerala, and I watched your movie. Very critical example. Your movie now already touched our Malaysian heart. In the past, nobody knows of a Tamil movie. Today, everybody knows who is Rajinikanth, Amitabh Bachchan. Everybody knows. Bollywood, Hollywood, everybody knows. How? So because they make the movie even more advanced like Hollywood movie. Even the creativity, innovation, why people remember, why people like to sing. So all this actually is a market force. So intellectual is really come from the classroom. You have to create the intelligence. That's why you can see our vice president from India, the mother migrated to India. She's a scientist. Went to India and grew the daughter now. The daughter come in, and the daughter very proud. She very proud said, my grandfather from India. Nobody said look down. I very proud. My forefather come from India. Why I need to look down? You look at my face. But I'm Malaysian. Although I'm Malaysian, but I have all these relationships around the world where we can bring academic around the world. Academic is the best family ever I met in my life. We all like family members. I have very good contact with Latin America until now. I'm very close with them. Although they're differently language, they can't speak different. But why you cannot united? Why we want to work as a silo? That is a question I posed to all of you here. So the classroom today is no more the classroom that you think in the past. It can be all virtual. It can bring all kind of tools. What kind of computer you bring. But if we don't touch the human life, human touch doesn't appear, then all failure. So online, there's a limitation. The limitation is, recently I called my student, my postgraduate student. They all stay online for last 2 years. They never come to our campus. First time they landed, I brought them to campus. I brought them to my state. And the moment they look at it, they're so enjoyable. And they discuss among themselves. And they come up with their new ideas. And then we solve a lot of problems. That is what I'm saying, that physical face-to-face also important. But doesn't mean every day face-to-face, no need. It can be 50%, another 50% you can go online. I'm not saying 100%. No, 100% is not workable. But the value that you create is really in the classroom. What kind of value you create? All the best value that you gather from the religious perspective. I'm talking about every religion talk about good things, good values. love each other. Don't hate. Don't do revenge people. All this value you have to put your no corruption. No way. Don't ever take people's money, use for your own money. Don't do that. All right? Never do that. You have to be a genuine person. You have to be a rewarding person. You have to be a person that touching the life of people. So that's why I always say that classroom is not only one way that just bringing them to get a degree. That's all. No, that's not the way. You're actually bringing them many things in their life. I know that many students successful today, they remember you when you are in the classroom. If they forgot you, something wrong with them. A lot of students will remember in their life when they success, they will back again. They will back again. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, teacher, because you've done something for me. Today I am. If you don't touch my life on that particular time, that's it. So when in the classroom, you have to look everyone, not only one person, A to Z. There are many students actually lack of love, lack of support, lack of family engagement. No, they come to classroom as a family. They want you to touch them. You are the teacher, so you need to touch their life. So not that easy to do that. I have one student. She's very sick. Non-stop I visiting. Non-stop I giving support. Non-stop I never forsake. I'm always giving a lot of support, even though she or he very weak. But the weak is not my question. My question is how I touch. And one day maybe that particular student becomes someone. And sometimes students come foreign countries, stay in our country, they feel like loneliness. They think that they think that I'm not belong to that. Like example, I'm staying in India, even though I'm born in Malaysia, Indian. If I stay in India, I feel like loneliness. But if the family all in India put me as one family, I feel like, oh, I'm going to stay here. So that's why I say in this short my talk, I always emphasize as a professor of HR and IR and industrial relation, labor relation, I always put that my student in the classroom is very, very important. But again, I cannot transform them if they are failure in the family life. Many students already fail in the family life. I cannot do anything. They will come to the campus within 1 2 years. I can't do anything. I can't change them. I only can give a proper education. That's all. But you want to change from the womb. Everybody must play a role. Everybody going to be mother. Everybody going to be father. Everybody want to be someone. So you need to play a role in your children's life. So it doesn't mean that you lack of lack of your own career. I don't say that. You need to also take care of your career part. I do that. I can say a testimony. I also looking after my students. I also looking after my career. I also publish until now. I publish papers, books. I'm already in the pipeline, another 5 books to publish. One of them come from Dr. Frank and some friends. When we are in this group, when I first met Dr. Frank through my friend Dr. Ganesan, he's the one who introduced me to all this group. And I told Dr. Frank, what are we going to do? Have we just chat like that? Or we want to do something to establish something? And then I said, never mind. We work out on the book chapter. Finally, the success story is we have come out about 10 or 15 chapters from India, from Indonesia, and from Malaysia. That is the first project I am embarking to bring a collaboration. So it's not the name for me. Actually, for all the authors in that book, they are writing about their story, how they go through the process and challenges to get their PhD or masters, and finally they become someone today. And that's a story that we write in their book. So I said this is a very, very good book for those who are starting their career to establish their life in academic life. So academic life is a very beautiful life. Although you are a teacher, although you are lecturers, professors, you are a teacher. Always a teacher. We are servants that God created us to help others. That's why when I choose to be teacher, I accept it. Otherwise, I can go to my own profession like HR or IR. I can earn more than triple pay in my age now. Maybe I can be someone in the regional or worldwide HR director. I can be someone, but that is not my intention. My intention is to go with the teaching line and education line so that I can create many talents in the country. And I'm very proud to say that many of my students are sitting on the top top position at the moment, and they are contributing to the nation. From some of them already abroad, going abroad to the country. They're working in some in Africa. Some of them working in America. Some of them working within our country, Singapore, and so on. But they are all doing good job in terms of their profession and so on. So I have about 25 students working under me, PhD and masters. I'm still I'm guiding them. I said the PhD master is yours, not me. You the one actually develop the house, not me. So their classroom different. Their classroom not in the classroom. Sometimes you ask Jessica, sometimes we meet in the coffee shop or Starbucks or maybe on the car or maybe we're meeting a lot of places, not in the classroom. Classroom can be anywhere also. Home is a classroom, restaurant is a classroom. So classroom is not in the physical classroom. That's gone today. Now the classroom can change in many ways. So you need to understand your student. Don't bring your thought to them. You bring your gone a day, because your age, their age totally different. You cannot think what they think. Very different. I can see things happening. Even my own family, I can see my children. They're totally different. They are not the children that what we come from. We like Y as X, different. Z is a different. Z generation totally different. And the more coming Z1, Z2, Z3 already born now, that's more challenges you guys going to face. I don't know how you all going to cope with them, but they are going to be a challenge for you as a teacher. What are you going to bring? Are you just based on your PhD or master's enough? No way. Your master PhD is just a paper qualification. That's it. That paper qualification cannot bring to the classroom and show out, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm a professor. No. Maybe they will much intelligent than you. They know better than you. They already do the homework. They're on the spot. They can comment on you, how you feel. You said, Prof, you're talking already out of the 5 years. We cannot follow you. How you feel? How deal with them? Gone. Very difficult. But you need to update your knowledge. Before you go to the classroom, update your knowledge. Keep on like me. I'm every time update my knowledge. That's why I encourage people to go for the conference. Go for this kind of virtual conference, a virtual talk, and listening to the expert, listening to the practitioners, so that, for example, I invest my own money. I'm going to US next year, where we gathered all over the world, people coming from all the continent, people coming in my area. We'll gather in Cornell University. I will spend. Sometimes people say, why you need to go there? Actually, I'm telling dear my fellow friends, students, when I was a student, I met a lot of people. During the time, I got 2-3 grants, When your own field, I'm talking your own field. I said you are in the linguistic or finance. Look for the conference, the biggest conference where every scholars come. Sometimes when you meet the people, the scholars or academic scholars, they maybe help you later part in your life. Sometimes you want to apply grant, they will be support you. Hey, there's a grant here. You are doing it. So I got a lot of contact like this. I able to penetrate a lot of grant through like this. So sometimes you think conference not important, actually very important. Especially you need to go to European context or America. Go and meet these people or Australia. Then the investment that you put will work well for you. Otherwise, you just publish Scopus, ISI, your world very limited. That's all. You don't know the human being. You don't know the who's scholars. For example, next year I'm going to see all of the world. All the scholars, all my good friend. I'm 20 years with them. I was traveling all over the world for last 20 years, but I'm glad to to see them. And I want to bring my student. I said, whoever want to come, follow me. We go there and I will introduce all the top professors from Cornell, from MIT, from Harvard, from Oxford, from Japan, from Sydney, and so many countries, they will come and we become good friends. So that's why our people, the young scholars, they only think that no investment. So you don't put the invest now, how you want to get back later. So this I did for last 20 years. So when I invest, the fruitful investment is I become professor at a young age. Why? Because I work with all the top professors. I got a grant from the Toyota Foundation, from the recently with my friend, Dr. Jaya. Dr. Jaya is a mix. I think Jaya was here speaker. He's a top scientist, and he able to get a grant 6 million ringgit, Malaysia, equivalent to 1 million euro from the European Union. And the grant already parked at and he worked about 40 scientists around the world. how you get all these contacts. And you see, things can happen. And I also part of the team. On the team, we are developing one natural area, forest reserve in Malaysia, and the European very much to like to see how to protect the nature from the animal, from the tree and all this. So we are also developing a resort. So I was given a task to come out a good HR policy for that resort that we're going to do. It's very nice resort, very nice place to stay, relax, and the grant will be given about 5 years from now. How Dr. Jaya will get this grant? Because first thing, he's a very humble person, and he's a top scientist, and I am the social science. No relevant at all. How can scientists and social science they can work together? Don't give a reason. Don't give so many things. It started all from classroom. How the classroom started? I'll bring Dr. Jaya in my classroom, and we become partners. He stay another campus 2 hours from here. It's a science-based campus. But because I humble myself. I work with the young scholars. So because of that relationship, it turned out to be we got a grant. So you see, 6 million ringgit Malaysia, which is a big grant. You don't say that you cannot get a grant. You must write a good proposal, and you must get right people, and not only Malaysia but worldwide and so on. And I already got a few grants with the Ministry of Human Resources for industry grant. I already got a 3rd grant now. How you get all this? Network, very, very important network. You must be good to everyone. Like for example, in India, you're not just focusing on your university. You must focus on the Ministry of Human Resources, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Energy, a lot of institute already established by the government. Go work with them, go talk to them, and close relation with them. And from there, you get all this accessibility. And sometimes you have to talk by yourself. You go contact professor in MIT and so on. So teaching in the university actually is a scholarship of teaching, not teaching like school. School different. School, we are developing the basic education knowledge for them. University is beyond. We are talking about research-based teaching and learning. How you teach. I was recently, I do the evaluation. I was asked to one of the top university in Pakistan. They contacted me through the Google. They found for me, and they already contact me. They want me to visit on the HR team members. They asked me to evaluate one lecturer in that university to promote from the year 2 and 3. So assistant professor, he want me to give a report. And when I just finished the report, I go through his profile and I write very good report with him. I strongly recommended this doctor to be promoted as soon as possible, because I saw his publication. More than 15 articles was his corpus and Web of Science, and from Pakistan, meeting. And how they know me? How? I don't know them. They don't know me. How? Through the website. They go through your name must appear in the Google. They type and people find out. And that is your field. Don't go multiple field. Sometimes you're teaching one subject in the classroom. You are doing one thing in the other thing. No, focus on your research. Focus on the area. And finally, you can see the result turn to be a better result. Many of us don't focus. Simply do A to B like that. So that is actually not right way. All right, you can teach multiple discipline. I was teaching marketing last time. Okay, of course I can teach. I teach entrepreneurship. I can teach, but my focus is more on that. My expertise is calling scholarship of teaching is HR and labor relation. So if you can see that kind of connectivity, then you can be someone. So very young age, I was promoted. I didn't work for the promotion. I work for my career. I keep on update myself, writing, publish. If not publish, you will perish in academic world. So you need to publish. There's no way you can say, no, I'm the academic, no publish, no way. So when you go to the classroom, your student will respect you. The student will say, wow, this is my professor. My professor well known in terms of everything, in terms of every knowledge A to Z. And they will be very proud to have you in my classroom. So the most happiest they have when you empower them, when they give you a chance for them to, they come out their own ideas, own, what they call, develop the curriculum. Sometimes curriculum is a basic only, but when they are doing things together with you, you see the marvelous thing, especially undergraduate. Respect them. They are young, but respect them. So the years to come, next few months, they will coming, new batch will coming. There are even more challenges for us. So I'm looking every semester. The people come from my classroom, all the young one, it's very difficult. Sometimes they don't show your respect to you. What to do? You must accept it. You cannot scold them. They're like that. They won't respect you. They won't say hello to you. They won't say even greetings to you. No way. It's not exception to India. Once I take India, we say Vanakkam sir, everything, those days. Now, they don't care. They just go like that. Because they are living in their world, their own world, that is based on the artificial intelligence. They are always, their referral is actually their mobile phone, social media, and so on. They're learning anything they want to learn. So that's why I said, as a teacher of the university, you need also put the soft skill, all the things that they have to bring back to the industry, bring back to the community, bring back to the family. They have to do that. Otherwise, there will be failure and be very, very sad. For example, my nephew just got a job. He's very young, just got a job. I said, don't forget your father, don't forget your uncle, don't forget them. And what he said, because we nurture them in the home. Yes, uncle, I never forget you all. When I was in a difficult position, you give a hand. All of you give a hand. Then I said, don't ever. Then he said, yes, uncle, I will never forget. How can he say like this? Because the parents, their nephew, their uncles train them like that. And then keep on motivate them. Don't ever use the negative word. Like in this room, all of you excellent. Otherwise, you won't come for this conference. Why you come for this virtual conference? You're all excellent. You're all very good. Only thing that you need the guidance, a way out to how to penetrate many, many things in the world. So welcome to Malaysia and look for the Malaysia. Malaysia is a beautiful country. In my university, we have almost 300 Chinese students come and study in Malaysia. Why India? None of them here. Chinese sending their students everywhere in the world. Everywhere, student Chinese come. Why? They want to get the knowledge. And as you know, Malaysia is well established in terms of education. All my students studying here, working worldwide, those studying PhD. I never see Indian students come and study here. Why? You should think about that. So a lot of students come from Indonesia, come from Africa. I am receiving a lot from Ghana will come in soon. But I never see Indian students come and study here. So you have to go out, invest your time. Like me, I study in Australia, I study in United Kingdom. Then I bring back this knowledge to my country. So Malaysia is the best place to come in. A very peaceful country, and we have multiple race. You can find everything here. People very nice. People go anywhere. Also, people can speak a multiple language, and I think you have a wonderful time. The same thing also. We go to India and so on. So these are the things I want to see in the future. Not only always we are doing online. I already told Dr. Frank to arrange when, I'm not sure when I'm going to happen this, but I keep on telling him, do some small gathering or small workshop that we gathered in India first. After finish that, then we will come and do it in Malaysia and so on. So I'm looking for that. It's also my dream to see all of you, see face to face, be sitting on the table, we're having coffee together, chatting. You see how nice is it? Rather than we talking like truth to this kind of ritual. So I want to see coffee with you, and I want to chat with you. Relax in a nice environment, cozy environment, and we chat. And Malaysia is not that expensive. A lot of airlines flying up and down. So you can bring your students to Malaysia, let them expose. Some students, I think they're very rich, their parents are very rich. They're willing to pay. You should arrange for them, to way out for them to go. Like my student, I'm arranging summer trip to go to Singapore with not much cost, less cost, but I'm arranging for them so they can go to Singapore, just one day trip or whatever. So let them go to Singapore and see, wow, Singapore, we are not like Singapore. We are still want to learn a lot of things for Singapore. Same thing goes to Jakarta. Same thing goes to many other countries. So when you go to the other countries, then you know that. And I think India is totally changed a lot. Not like those days when I go to India. I think total change. India is actually going very, very fast in terms of technology, education. So, but you need a lot of things, cultural changes, mindset in the school. Don't bring so many red tape inside the classroom, inside the workplace. Remove all these. Make like other countries. You see, think like China. China is going very freely. Once a time, they close the things to other people coming in. Now they open up. They open everywhere. So now you can see all the top brand all come from China. They're penetrating market everywhere. I just talked to my friend in United Kingdom. They just arrived Malaysia. I said, how's your parents doing the takeaway? Because those days, some of my friends, their father migrated from Hong Kong to UK to start up takeaway business, Chinese. And now they say what? I say, Prof, now no more change. Now things all change. We have become workers, laborers for Chinese become owner. How can Chinese can go everywhere become owner? All right. So something need to think about that. So that's why I also encourage my students from other like Rebecca here. She's not from Peninsula. She's from another state, very far from here, 3 hours. I call him App, come here and study. You not only study master, you also study many things. And I think I bring her so many people, introduce many things. So this is how the master and PhD student with exposure for them, not only just doing the research, but also explore them. So with short, I like to say that classroom today, not only virtual, it's totally different classroom. The classroom that we're going to face is a student's power, not our power anymore. Like I told even the employer said, no more employer power. Now it's employee power. Employee will determine whether I want to come or not. Let I decide. No more than those days, employer can do anything on them. Discriminate. No. I told them, employers, be aware that one day you won't get any employees will come to work in your company. And that is the time you will realize I do something wrong. I didn't pay. I didn't share to my employees. They will say goodbye. I will go to the gig economy. Gig economy giving flexibility. Gig economy giving more time for their family. Gig economy give them a quick money for them to spend, but not a permanent employment. Permanent employment controllable. They control the same trend also I'm telling in the classroom. You cannot control your students. Let them grow by themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, how can, as a professor, the student, I send them to airport. I take them to airport. Who can do like that? Nobody can do like this. No even square can do that. I did that yesterday. But the student must realize also, it's not take advantage on that. They cannot anyway take advantage. I never take advantage on my supervisors, my teachers. Never. I never do that. I only make sure that myself, I always put a gap. They are my guru. I respect them. I do my best. I want to bring good name. That's why I'm very proud to see both my supervisors. One of them passed away. They're very proud to see me because I bring the good name in my country and I'm bringing top in the list, and they are very happy to see because I trained by them. I trained by many teachers, maybe in Malaysia and outside Malaysia. So that's why when you study someone, you need to be someone in the particular place. Huh? So with that, I would like to once again I welcome all my fellow friends, students from all part of the India and also other countries. Enjoy like these 3 days. I think you learn a lot of things, and especially most of you teachers. Some of you want to be teachers. Some of you want to go to the industry. The classroom can appear everywhere, not only in the school or university, also can appear in the industry also. Industry also another classroom. They will teach by mentors and so on. So don't say that after finish university, you work, there's no classroom. Classroom also appear in different ways. So that's why I said the world changed, everything changed. And India already conquered the moon. I don't know what happened next. Maybe people want to go to the moon. I don't know. So Chandran 3 or Chandran 4 will go again. And they're going to bring all the things like you can see a lot of people become like crazy. Yeah? They want to conquer different. They don't happy with the earth. They don't feel like enjoying it. They want to go something else. So this is actually no good lah. Actually we see, but of course scientists always want to innovate. They want to see new things happen, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Don't worry. Look down on yourself, on anyone. You're all a good person. So with that, thanks to Dr. Region, and Dr. Frank. Dr. Frank always hiding himself. A very humble person. Ever I see, one of the humble doctors, hardworking, and I never say we never meet each other, but he's very respect me. The way he talk also very humble. And I think not even our student can talk like that. Never do that. But he is like that person. He always is hiding himself. But he's the one, and Dr. Regina, one that behind doing this. So that's why I'd like to congratulate with Dr. Ganesan and all the speakers that invited for these 3 days. And hope you guys for 3 days enjoy your day. And this evening will be the best evening for you. And hope to see you again. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
So it was very nice session, sir. We all are really enjoyed it, sir. So now it's time for clearing your doubt. If anybody have any queries, you can ask to sir. I think there
Uh,
is no queries or any doubt. Yeah,
yeah,
you
I have a
can.
question. Yeah. I have a question for Professor Dr. Bala. I see your CV so many things to do and you have achieved so many things. I want to know how do you manage your KPI and then your time with networking. You do so much things. So how do you manage your network and your work? And we talk about work-life balance lah, something like that. So maybe this one is good for others also. Prof, you are mute, Prof. Hello, Prof. You are mute, Prof.
First of all, look my hair. My hair is a black or white? You determine first. Am I right? You see always me. Okay. From the my hair, you can determine work-life balance. Already solve the problem. If your hair getting at this age, getting white, something is not right to do, right? Then you can see in my face also, people say no. So actually, you work smart, not work hard. Remember the word: work smart, don't work hard. And actually, I spent a lot of time, leisure time for myself. I went for swimming, I went for the gym, I went for the with my family, and Saturday Sunday I won't study. Saturday Sunday is for me to devote myself to the God who created us. Okay, I like to spend because God the one actually created us to manage. So Saturday Sunday I never do that. Any work, no. Sorry for my list. All right. How do that? You must be a good person. You be a nice person. Your heart is a good. God will provide you everything for you. The Almighty good is very your heart must very clear. No revenge, no backstabbing, no anger. Don't do bad thing. Don't take people's money. Don't take everything. Don't do that. If you can maintain this life, then it's better for you. Of course, you know what are you doing. So when I encourage the young one, better start in early age. When Jessica, you're young, you better start now. You don't wait until certain age you want to start. Sorry, you can't. After 40, you don't push yourself. A lot of people pass away early age now, 30, 35, 40, all got a heart attack. So many sicknesses are coming because they don't know how to balance their life. And a lot of divorce happen now. A lot of divorce, especially among the academician. Because academician, their life totally different. So, and many academicians didn't marry also because so it's all very good sign for me lah. It's not good sign, So you work hard and work smart. That's my word. Secondly, don't take it everything serious. Leave it to God. Let God handle the things. Problem when come the problem, solve the problem. If you cannot solve the problem, that's it. You make a lot of friends. Go out, talk to your friends. Like my students, my friend. Most of my students, my friend. I treat them as like that. So you talk, you network with you. You go to shop, you sit down there, you talk to people. You don't make yourself like pride. No having any pride. Example, I'm a professor. I'm already 11 years. Nobody knows I'm a professor. I go with them. I'm now. How can I got all the position? I didn't ask for the position. No, I don't want position also. But people look at you. Hey, something I can see. He has something. People will give you actually. So in all my life, I didn't ask for the position. Position will come automatically to you. Why you want to go something and you do a lot of things that not good for them. All right. So you don't be selfish. How many times I spend my money to my student? A lot of student I pay. I think you will know this. Nobody even give 1 ringgit to spend. Nobody will give that. But what I do today, like one student send the parcel to me. He only pay 10 ringgit. I pay 15 ringgit. Why I need to have my heart like that? Not because I have money. No, I want he feel happy. Wow. He say, wow. How can the person like this? So money will come. Money will come every time for you if you have a goal. If you start stingy, that's why I say all the bad thing you remove and a good thing will come. So I'm already professor at the age. I didn't apply professor. I didn't apply senior lecturer. I didn't apply as a professor. Even I recently given a post dean. I didn't apply. I didn't ask. I only work genuinely. I want to make my country super, super, super. And that's why you can see that a lot of friends come to you. You look like Indian, but you're not Indian. You're a citizen of the world. You belong to all the communication, all the community in the world. But you need to go forward in your front. So put your good ethics on your side. Okay, good value. Okay, put yourself. Okay, don't do hanky panky all. Don't corrupted. Don't do all this. Even academic and corrupted. You're absent from the class. You didn't teach. You just like teaching like all knowledge. Cannot. You cannot do that. That you must go do the right way. If you people pay you money, you give back to them in the right way. So Jessica, you can see that. All right. If not, I'm already a white hair. I'm getting old. Maybe I already sick. I'm on the bed now. If I things do that. So balanced life for me, number one. I never work very hard, but things will come. How? We work as the people will come work as a team. Okay. So that's why I said that's life you have to continue. Okay. I think I answered your question. And also I think our fellow friends also maybe learn something from the people like experienced people like me. All right. Okay. All right, thanks. I hope you be do what I say to you. You'll be success in your life. Okay, doctor? Is it doctor? What's your name? I forgot your name. Hello? Oh.
Sir.
No,
Okay, so
what is
your answer is
your name?
so my name Anij.
Oh, Anish. Are you a student or lecturer?
Yeah, I'm student, sir. Student.
Oh, PhD student. PhD.
No, yeah, I am doing my MPhil, sir. MPhil.
Oh, MPhil.
MPhil
Oh,
scholar.
okay. From where you come from? From India? I'm from Chennai?
Yeah, India, sir. Indian, from India.
No, I know. Which part? Which state you come from?
Tamil Nadu.
Oh, so you watched the movie Rajinikanth recently, Jailer?
Yeah. I just watched it.
What is your comment on the Jailer? How you see from academic perspective the movie?
It was a very nice movie, sir.
Amazing, am I right? Amazing. Rajinikanth, 80 years, 70 years old, look young, huh? So I want to follow him. I want to be like him. So.
Yeah. Age
So
72 itself, he is
captured all our community, Malay community, the Malay crazy for Rajinikanth, even Japan crazy. And you can see how the music make everybody crazy. So
yes.
you penetrate.
Yeah.
You from Chennai, but Chennai already conquered the whole world now. That's why you come to Malaysia, you come to movie, you see how the people crazy for the Indian movie now. So they are like equivalent to Bollywood and Hollywood now. A lot of people coming. So you done something. Good luck. I mean, I'm saying that all the movie, but you make money. So the academic also like that. You need to come out, think outside the box. All right? I can see your face. You're very young, I think. Under 30 maybe. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. Right. So if anybody have any other doubt or any queries, you can ask to sir.
Okay. Respected sir, are you listening?
Oh yeah, Manisha. Yeah, Manisha Sharma.
Yeah. Yes, so my name is Manish Sharma, and I am also from India, and I'm a Bengali, and
Bengali.
Bengali.
Right.
Bengali. So, sir, first of all, now let me give an introduction. I am pursuing my PhD from ICFA University, Tripura, as a PhD scholar. So, the very first comment I want to make, like, the way you have explained, sir, it's really touched all of our hearts. Like your first comment was very humanistic. Like you are not using your designation, assistant professor. Is the very spirit of humanity you encouraged. We forgot that we are human beings. Sometimes, sir, academics pressurize us in such a way that we never care for humanity. So your comment was extremely encouraging in the sense that we get a very positive vibes here. That one person who is promoting humanity. That is the ultimate thing. And our subject is soft skills and classroom. It's nothing but connected to larger benefits of human beings. So the spirit, sir, you have captured today. The very opening scene, I as a scholar, simple scholar, nothing in front of you. You are such a big person, nothing in front of you. Just like a simple student, I am commenting on an entire seminar that it catches the spirit of like being a pride to be a human being. Seriously, sir, it's a very good session, and personally, I will try my best to be there for 3 days. I don't know whether I can be, but definitely I will try. Such a session I don't want to miss. So that's the comment, sir. Thank you for such nice lecture. Nice lecture.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. If anything, you can email Jessica. Can you show my email to them? My email.
Yeah,
Email to them. You can show something. You can communicate with me, email. Very simple. My name is Balakrishnan. One word only, Balakrishnan at umk.edu.my. Very simple. So if anyone communicate with me, please do so. So that my university actually welcoming people from all over the world to work together in the entrepreneurship. Actually, we are very much based on entrepreneurship. So anybody want to get accreditation with Malaysia, of course, my university is the only university to do that. Thanks, Manish Sharma. Are you from which part of any state?
Yeah, sir, I am from Northeast India. And
what is the capital? Capital of your state?
So my state is Tripura.
Oh, and, Tripura. Okay, we are very cold, maybe. Yeah, it's very cold state, maybe.
Yeah, so very one of the shortest of the states in India, and smallest, one of the smallest. And my capital is Agartala. I am from Agartala, capital city of Tripura.
Oh, okay. Nice,
and
nice.
Sir, my subjects are English language and literature. Means masters in English language and literature.
Then you have to work with Dr. Frank. Dr. Frank also English literature. Dr. Frank. So we have English literature in our university. We have the language. We got master program on the communication English. So that's why. Can Jessica, can you find or not find?
I'm sorry, I cannot share because I use iPad. Maybe Dr.
Oh, okay. So everybody know my name, very famous name, Balakrishnan. I think you know one. Not Balasubramaniam. Balasubramaniam already passed away. The top singer, everybody knows. So one word only, Balakrishnan, join together, and then at umk.edu.my. Because I cannot share here because they already cannot share the message. Anyway, maybe Dr. Frank can help. Dr. Jin, can send to them. All right, Mr. Jin, you can send to them my email. Okay, all right.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mani. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful sessions. So now I would like to invite the second resource person. So for inviting the second resource person, I would like to call Jessia student from University of Malaysia, Kellington, to call Kanika Baliham ma'am.
Thank you so much to our moderator, and I think, yeah. So I will introduce our second speaker. Okay, our second speaker is Kanika Bala. So Miss Kanika is an assistant professor of English from Faculty of Humanities and Language, Guru Kashi University, Bathinda, Punjab, India. Dr. Kanika has a Master Philosophy, Master Administration in English, Bachelor Administration in English Honors from Punjab University, Chandigarh, India. Okay. Dr. Miss Kanika, areas of interest is study of literature in conflict zone, religion and ethnography in South Asia. Her publication, she already published 8 articles and 6 book chapter, also 2 books. Hands to you, Miss Kanika. I welcome you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Okay, great. So good evening, everyone. I would first like to thank the organizers, especially Lavender Literary Club, Cape Comorin Trust, and the Malaysian Industrial Relations and Human Resource Association Malaysia for organizing this wonderful workshop and inviting me to speak. And I would also like to thank Professor Dr. Balakrishnan for his wonderful session before. And as Dr. Balakrishnan has rightly said, that we have entered an era in which the role of the teacher is very diverse now. So we are not supposed to give lecture nowadays. We are supposed to facilitate the students, just as in the American education system. So I have taught in the US for about a year. I was on my full bed there. And the first thing that I was, asked to do that, I don't have to lecture them. And I should not say to anyone, oh, you are wrong or you are right. So I have to facilitate them. I have to make everyone speak. And that was the best part. And I came back with new pedagogical skills. And I would share them with you also. And since coming back, it's like I cannot just go back to my old teaching techniques, and my students love my lectures a lot since I engage them. So I would like to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Can somebody say yes or no, because I'm just seeing my PPT on the screen.
Yes, madam, visible.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
okay,
Yes,
thank you so
Kanika
much.
madam, it is visible. It is visible.
Sure. Thank you. So the topic of my presentation is using effective communication skills for personality development. Since this was the very theme of the workshop, so I thought that I would inculcate a lot of elements, starting from artificial intelligence and how to communicate well, and also how to use them for personality development and not just, for just, one aspect. So this is what the topic is. So I'll start with the very basics of language learning. So there are 4 skills that are very important in any language. They are listening, speaking, reading, and writing, LSRW. And if you go for any standardized test, for example, if you are taking a test for English, you go for TOEFL or IELTS test. So these 4 skills are the ones which are judged. And if you say that your proficiency is very good in any language, it means that you mastered all of these skills. So it's very important in way the order of these skills is written. So first comes listening. So listening and reading, both of these skills are input skills. This is what I call them. Input skills, and speaking and writing are output skills. So when you listen or when you read, you are taking in information. And when you speak or when you write, you are giving out the information. So whenever you start learning a language, you need some kind of input. So that is why listening and reading, they are very important. They come first. So whenever a child is born, he listens to his parents, his relatives, his friends, and that is where he picks up the basic nuances of the language. And then on basis of that, he starts speaking. So these 2 skills come first, and then he starts learning about the alphabets, reading. So how do we differentiate between the letters? For example, if I have written on the left side of the screen L, S, R, and W, so we can identify these letters because we have learned them through repetition. So we won't call the first letter F, for example, or G. We know that it is an L. So how do we know that it is an L? And when we write, so we write on the basis of what we read. So as I said, that there are 2 skills, the input skills, listening and reading, and then the output skills, speaking and writing. And as in any case, in the case of computer applications or anything, your output is always dependent on the input. So if you put good inputs, you will get good output. So if you listen to good things, if you listen to good videos, if you listen to good lectures, if you listen to good topics or themes, of course your speaking will be affected as such. And when you read nice stuff, your writing will be affected. So if you read poor quality of materials, or if you do not read academic stuff, your writing will definitely be a reflection of what you read. So listening and reading are very important skills. There is no amount of emphasis that I can put to show how important they are. So whenever we are judged on the basis of our speaking and writing skills. So if you have to impress anyone through your communication skills, you have to put emphasis, you have to focus on listening and reading part. MTI, or mother tongue influence. So there was an Irish playwright called George Bernard Shaw. Because I'm from literature background, so there might be a lot of references from literature. I hope you'll bear with them. So Bernard Shaw was an Irish playwright, and he served on a committee which decided what is the standard English. So because you know that English is spoken all around the world, and there are so many variations in the way English is spoken, and not only in the way English is spoken, but also in the vocabulary. For example, there are two words, cookies and biscuits. So biscuits is a British word, and cookies is an American word, but both mean the same thing. Similarly, sunglasses and goggles. So goggles is a British word, and eyeglasses or sunglasses is an American word. So there are differences in the vocabulary as well. But when we look at pronunciation, I can give you some examples too. For example, the word route. So route is a British pronunciation. If I say I'm taking that route to reach my hostel, for example, so route is a British pronunciation of the word, but Americans say route. So I'll take that route to reach my hostel. So since English is our second language, it's not our first language. I guess for most of the participants here, English would be the second or third language. We have acquired it afterwards. We didn't hear it while we are growing up from our parents. So mother tongue influence would always be there. The way I speak English, since I am a Punjabi, would be different from the way somebody else from South India speaks English, because their mother tongue would influence their second language, or somebody from the Northeast, or someone from Malaysia, or America or China. So on the basis of the mother language, there is an influence on the second or third or fourth languages that you subsequently learn, and that is called mother tongue influence, or MTI. And whenever you communicate, so there's always a lot of pressure about your pronunciation and how you present yourselves, and most of the people, they shy away from presenting before the public or speaking, because they're very ashamed of the way they speak. And I've made this slide particularly just for them, so that they might get confident about the way. And if think somebody says that, oh, you don't speak English that well, then you can always say that this is my MTI. And George Bernard Shaw, he was such a great man, he was such a great writer, and he says that there is no standard English. So the basis of communication, or the very purpose of communication, is that you should be able to get your message across. If I want to say something, and if I say it in a language which none of you understands, then what is the basic purpose of my saying it? So that is very important, that whatever you want to say should be communicated clearly to the other person. And if he gets it, then well and good. If it doesn't, then you should focus again on the reading and listening part. But MTI should be something that you shouldn't be ashamed of. Nobody should be ashamed of the way their mother tongue has influence on the second or third language. Now, this is my very favorite slide. I was having a lot of speculation whether I should put it here or not, but then I thought that it is important. So the slide says that effective communication is 20% what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know. So I was reading this somewhere a few years ago, that if somebody is abusing you in German, now because you do not understand German, you won't make much of it. You wouldn't feel offended. But if somebody was abusing you in your mother tongue, because you understand it and you know what it means, you will feel offended and you might get very angry, and you might even retaliate by, talking back to that person. But when you do not know what the other person is saying, so what was the message of that small example, that if you do not know a language, if somebody is abusing you, you do not feel offended, was that whenever the other person is saying something, the reaction depends on how you feel about it and not what the other person has said. So this is what is communicated in this very quotation, that effective communication is 20% of what you know and 80% how you feel about what you know. So now I'll come to the intelligence platforms, the artificial intelligence platforms that we can use for improving our communication skills. So the first one is Duolingo. It is an app in your phones that you can download, and they offer personalized language lessons in every language. You can they have about, I guess, more than 80 languages, and you can download the languages and they offer you lessons, and they track your progress. They start from the very easy, and they keep on complicating the words, and then grammar comes on, so on and so forth. And the best part is that they have a lot of quizzes and they offer you instant feedback. So if you press the wrong answer, you will immediately come to know that your answer is wrong and the right answer was that one. And the best part is that they always tell you about your mistakes in a very friendly way. So if you make a mistake, for example, in the present perfect continuous tense of a particular language, they will keep giving you questions based on that one only, so that till the time you have perfected that mistake. So the second one is Babbel. It is another artificial intelligence platform through which you can learn languages, and it focuses on real world conversations. So the difference between Duolingo and Babbel is that Babbel offers you conversations also. So if you were to make a conversation with a real life person in that language, so Duolingo offers you words, but Babbel offers you conversations, full conversations. So you can use both of them if you have to learn a new language. Then comes Grammarly. A lot of you might have heard about it. It's a writing assistant. It doesn't speak anything. And it provides real-time grammar and spelling corrections and suggestions as for improving your writing style. And you might have seen that whenever you type an email, so Grammarly is already inculcated into that. So whenever you type an email, if you write something wrong, a red line appears and they give you suggestions that do you want it to say this, or you can correct it to this, did you mean that? So and Grammarly can be inculcated or incorporated into your Microsoft Word as well. So if you are writing a research paper, or if you are submitting an assignment, you can just download Grammarly. It's free of cost. It doesn't cost you any money. And it's a very good, AI tool for the beginners, especially those people who are dealing with English language. I am not sure whether they have developed Grammarly for other languages as well, but it works very well for English language. So when I was writing my research papers in the very beginning, when I was a bachelor student and master student, I used it a lot, but with time, you start learning things and you know that, okay, so you don't make that kind of mistakes, so you evolve and grow. So now I don't use it, but I definitely recommend it for the people who have just begun with the writing process. The fourth artificial intelligence platform is called Toastmasters Virtual Speech Coach. And now this is focused on improving public speaking skills. Now, this is something that might be very beneficial for people who want to become teachers and public speakers and politicians. So there are a lot of people with a lot of ideas. But if you do not have communication skills, you won't be able to express those ideas and you won't be able to make an impression on the people. So there are two components of communication. One is the way you present, and one is the ideas that you have. So if you do not have ideas, but you have excellent communication skills, then also you will be a failure, because people will see that you are bluffing. You do not have anything to offer to them. But if you have ideas and you cannot express it properly, then again, the whole process of communication breaks down, because people will not get what you are trying to say, even if your material is brilliant. So both of these things should go hand in hand, and this is one platform then that can help you achieve that. And there are a lot of whenever you speak, like right now you saw that I say so is kind of a filler, or sometimes we say a lot, so that is also a filler, or pacing. So all of these fillers, or how your speed is going, or do are you raising the tone of the voice when you are supposed to, or are you lowering it when you are supposed to? So these are the things that make your speech very interesting. And to engage your audience, you have to make sure that you do not speak in a very monotonous way, otherwise the people will just sleep and you wouldn't even notice that. So Toastmasters virtual speech coach tells you all of these things in a very interesting way. There are other platforms as well. One is the Vocal ID. So it combines artificial intelligence and voice recordings to create personalized voices, which can be particularly helpful for individuals with speech impairments. So there are a lot of artificial intelligence projects and apps which are designed for people with special needs. And this is one of them, because for example, if somebody is not able to speak clearly, so this app helps them to correct that thing. The other one is Rehearsal VRP. So this is again designed for practicing presentations and public speaking. So they help you with your presentation. I have used this, and in this you can like upload your presentation like I'm doing it right now. So I could have practiced this presentation before giving it to you in this platform. And they help you with the timing and everything, and your vocal variety, and how you pace your speech, and you can become a good public speaker by using all the tips that this platform provides. Then comes Apple Siri. So apart from Apple Siri, there are other apps as well. For example, you have the Google Assistant as well, the Google Voice Assistant, which is inbuilt in your phones. And you have Microsoft's, Google Assistant, Microsoft Assistant as well. So what these devices do is, you might have also heard of Alexa. I just remembered that. So all of these devices, they help you practice spoken communication through pronunciation and voice interaction. So these applications speak to you. And the reason that I've included this in the communication project is that these apps have already inculcated what kind of speech or what kind of words they are designed to hear. So sometimes if you say that Siri, can you please turn on the lights for me? So it is already designed to listen to this. But if you speak it in a low voice, or if you are mispronouncing the words, or if you are using wrong grammar, so it won't respond to you. So it will only respond if you are using your language, your speech in a very correct way, in a correct manner. So you can use this app, Apple Siri and Alexa and Microsoft Assistant and so many other, to practice speaking. So they will not respond to you unless you speak correctly. So I have one video also that I'll show, which is very hilarious. But before that, the last platform, edX. Apart from edX, there is Coursera also that I often use for in my classrooms. So edX uses artificial intelligence to offer courses on communication skills, many of which incorporate artificial intelligence powered tools for personalized feedback and assessment. So this platform, edX and Coursera, they both have courses which you can ask your students to take. and they will learn a lot of things. Then there are tests on the basis of which they are evaluated about how much they have learned. So this is the video that I was talking about. I'll just quickly show it.
I'm sorry, Miss Karika. There's no voice for this video.
Is there no voice?
Yes, there's no sound for this video.
I'll try sharing my screen again.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, while you share, towards the bottom, you could find, share sound as well, like turn on sound while presenting something. So you're supposed to do that. Only then we can hear you.
Okay. So there's a small advertisement. I'm so sorry. Are you able to hear it now?
Yes.
All right, now, by a round of applause, here's the question that I have. How many of you out there have one of those smart speakers?
There you go. Yeah.
What's the weather, ask?
What the weather? You want to know what is the weather?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
In Flagler Beach tomorrow, there will be showers with a high of 65 and a low of 56.
Jesus.
What's it there?
I'm scared. Cuckoo! Hi, Cuckoo!
You have to say hey or okay.
Hey, okay.
Google.
Tomorrow in London, it'll be sunny with a high of 41 and a low of 30.
You know, è un salame perché mia capisci cosa dice. I get it.
You're stupid, because I can understand everything I'm saying to you.
Hello, Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Cuckoo.
Yeah, you're cuckoo, all right.
Yeah, so the very basic purpose of showing you that video was that Italian woman who was trying to talk to the Google Assistant. And because she was saying Google and not Google, the device was not responding to her. And it was hilarious for her family members who were delighted at the way she was trying to interact with the artificial intelligence. So you see that if you pronounce the words properly and you use the grammar properly, only then devices like Siri or Google Assistant respond to you. So you can use them to improve your pronunciation and as well as the way you speak. So the benefits of artificial intelligence in learning communication skills. So the first point is personalized learning. Is there a problem? So personalized learning. Whenever you download some kind of an app like Duolingo or any Coursera or edX or anything, you will be given lessons on the basis of your personalized progress. So it would not be like in a classroom where there are, for example, 40 students or 80 students, and the teacher has to cater to everyone's need. And in 1 hour, it's not possible, if you look at the utilitarian side, to look into everybody's pace. So we set the pace as the one of the medium level student. So we have to cater to the very lowest and the very highest student, but we set it at the pace of the medium level. But in the case of artificial intelligence, it's not so, and it can help you give personal and very personalized learning lessons. Then the second point is instant feedback. So like I said, in quizzes, you press the wrong answer and immediately you know that you were not supposed to say that, but some other thing. So instant feedback is something. Instant feedback is something that artificial intelligence is very beneficial. Then you practice in a safe environment. Sometimes what happens is that when you make a mistake while learning communication skills, people make fun of you, or you are not comfortable, or you might offend other people as well. I'll give you a personal example. When I was learning Kashmiri, I tried that in the very beginning by using an app for that. So there was a word called pert. So the spellings are same, but the pronunciation is a bit different. So even now I cannot pronounce the two variations of the word, but one of the word meant upon, and the second one meant swear on. Like you say, I swear on my mother, I didn't do anything, like that. So I was in Kashmir for my fieldwork, and I tried communicating with them, with the native people in Kashmiri. I thought I would use my Kashmiri acumen. I hadn't learned that language quite well at that time. So something happened and I said Khudaya spurt. So Khudaya spurt means I swear on God. But instead of, because I used the wrong pert pronunciation, so instead of meaning I swear on God, I communicated to the natives that I sat on the god. So everyone laughed in the room. And of course, I felt very embarrassed. So, and I never used that phrase again, or even I thought that I would, learn Kashmiri fully well before speaking it with a native. So that experience gave a huge setback to me that I shouldn't, speak until I learn it properly. But in case of artificial intelligence platforms, that doesn't happen. They make you practice in a very safe environment. They make you very comfortable, and you feel comfortable with your mistakes as well. So that is one of other benefits of artificial intelligence. And then support for neurodiverse individuals. We have already talked about it, that in a class of 40 to 80 students, it is not possible for a teacher if there is, for example, 1 or 2 students who have speech impairment or hearing impairment. So we would, of course, cater to the people, or spend more time on those people who are normal, and we'll focus more on the rest 78 students other than that too, or they are supposed to go to a special school. And this is something that doesn't leave a very good impression on us as human beings, because they are a part of our community and society too. So artificial intelligence is very beneficial in that way, because it has support for those individuals. And then continuous learning. You can learn in the interstices of time. For example, if you are in a bus moving to your office or to your college, or you are cooking something, and during that time, when you have like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, even 1 minute. So they have artificial intelligence apps have quizzes or activities designed which start from time as limited as 1 minute. So they'll give you a quick quiz and stuff like that. So it's very helpful, I've seen, and that helps you in the continuous learning. So you don't stop. They don't have limitation of space. You do not need a physical classroom. There's no time for learning. Whenever you want or whenever you feel like, you can just pick up your phone or your laptop and start learning. But then there are some shortcomings as well. One of them is non-verbal communication assessment. So the major shortcoming, like this is the most major shortcoming, that these things teach you about the language, but they do not tell you about, sometimes, like not always, sometimes, about the voice quality, or the way you should raise the voice or lower the voice. For example, if you look at Duolingo, so they teach you the words, but it will look very monotonous, like because it's you'll, if you copy that, you will sound like a robot. So, but you see that normal people do not speak in a robotic kind of a fashion or in a mechanical fashion. So you have to take personal lessons, or you have to go out in the real world and start practicing the skills that you have learned through artificial intelligence platforms, only then it will be beneficial. Otherwise, if you depend just on artificial intelligence, it will not give you a holistic picture of your communication skills. Then cultural sensitivity. Cultural sensitivity and ethical and moral education, the last point, they are both connected. So they teach you about a language, they teach you about communication skills, no doubt, but they do not teach you how to be culturally sensitive. And there is no scope for including ethics and morals into it, because every culture has different ethics. Every country, every nation, or even every state has different ethics and different morals. I'll give you one more personal example. So when I was teaching in the US, a student came to me after the class, just when the class ended, and she said that I want to talk to you tomorrow. So what time are you available? So I was very happy. Those were, the very first days of, my teaching there. And I said, oh, you can come whenever you want. I'll be free the whole day. So after that, I left. And 1 hour later, I received a call from my supervisor, and he said, "Oh, Kanika, what did you tell to that girl? She's very upset, and she came to me and she told me." So I said, I didn't say anything. I just told her that she can come anytime in the day, and she just asked me for a conversation. And he said, no, that in America, if you have to give a specific time, a specific venue and date. So I should have said that, okay, I'll see you in my office, which is room number this and this, on floor number this, at 5 p.m. On this day. Instead of saying, you can see me anytime, I'll be available. So he said, basically, if you say anytime, that means you are not willing to see her. And I said, of course, I didn't want to convey that to her. But that was something which, cultural sensitivity should have, if I go out in the real world, even if I think that I speak English perfectly well, I understand English perfectly well, but this is something that I learn not through the artificial intelligence platforms, but through real interaction with people. The next point is accessibility. So if you have to access artificial intelligence apps and platforms, you need a laptop or a mobile phone, and not just a mobile phone, you need a smartphone, and then you need connectivity. Without network, without data, so all of these are shortcomings. So with teacher, with a human being, there is possibility of conversation at any time of a day, and but in the case of these platforms, you need a particular device. And for people who cannot afford that, or for people, for example, there are a lot of states in India as well. For example, in the very north, Kashmir, or in the northeast, Manipur, and other states. But there are, political upheavals, and sometimes the internet is shut down. So at that point, these applications are of no use, because you cannot, basically access the network. So this is one other shortcoming of artificial intelligence. But this, I would also like to say that artificial intelligence is not the only thing or the only way from which you can learn communication skills, but you have to supplement the knowledge that you gain from this with real world interaction to make full use of it. So how do you use effective communication skills? So one is understand how the other person might be impacted by what you say. So this is an important point. And if you have to sum up it in one word, I would say empathy is the word. So you have to be empathetic. So like if I were to ask you to write an essay on like how did you spend your time or day as a doctor? So most of you are students of literature or in other fields, but you cannot imagine your life as a doctor, working in a hospital. Why? Because you cannot empathize with them. But with writers or novelists or poets, they have very, sensitive minds. Their sensibility is very high. And that is why you see they write about 20 characters at the same time. And every character has so much conviction and so much passion. And you feel like, oh, that in every character, the author has put in so much focus. and he has portrayed them very genuinely, and you identify with one of them. If you read the novel and you share it with 10 other people, so 10 people would identify with 10 different characters in the novel. And they would say that every character is portrayed very brilliantly. So how does that happen? Through empathy. So whenever you communicate something, just think that if somebody else were to say that to you, how would you feel? And if you think that it doesn't give a good impression on you, just try not to say that. The second is learn to read body language and non-verbal signs. So language and communication skills is not just about how you speak or how you present yourself. It's also about how you receive the feedback. For example, right now I cannot see anybody's faces, but if I saw that some people are sleeping or some people are busy in their phones, that means the audience is bored, and I should, try changing my speaking style. So you have to read the body language as well, and the non-verbal signs, like are they nodding their heads whenever you teach in the classrooms? If they're not, you should understand that they're not getting anything what you are trying to say, and maybe you should try changing your approach. So this is another point. Third, improve your listening skills. Sometimes it is all what is required. Now, this is my favorite point. Like I said in the very beginning of my presentation, that listening is the most important skill. And I would give you one personal example. I have served as a warden also for about 6 months in my university. And there was a time around 11 p.m., I still remember, that one girl came and knocked at my door. So I was a little bit surprised that we do not receive people around 11 in the night. So that girl came, and I asked her what the issue was, and she was very angry, and she started speaking in a very aggressive tone, and she just went on for like 10-15 minutes. I didn't say anything at all. I just listened to her. And by the end of her, that brilliant extempore, she started softening a bit. She was getting more polite and more polite with every passing minute. So after she finished, I asked her, okay, so I've listened to you. Now tell me, what is the solution to the problem? Now that you have presented your problem in such an elaborate way, let me also know what I can do about it. So she said, you wouldn't imagine what she said. She said, ma'am, I know that there is nothing that can be done about it. So I said, why did you come to me then? She said, because I know that you would listen. And after, talking to you, after, having a conversation with you, like it was not even a conversation from my side, because I thought conversation was when two people are talking or having a dialogue. But she said that after a conversation with you, I am very much relieved. And that is when I realized that sometimes, listening is so important, and the way you listen is a communication and a conversation in itself. So I was nodding my head, I was making, condolencing faces. So she was feeling that I am, convinced by whatever she's saying, and I'm not making fun of her, I'm not mocking at her, or I'm not angry at her for disturbing me at that hour. And because of my cordial and quiet listening skills, she was so placated, and she went back happy to her bed. So that is one important lesson that I learned, in the very beginning of my career, that listening is very important. Then the fourth point is ask open-ended questions rather than dictating. So as teachers, as human beings, as students, as scholars, or simply as an educated person, you should never dictate anyone. So instead of saying, please make me tea, or please move there, please sit there, try making them an open-ended question, like, can you please make tea for me? So, or can you please sit there? Can you please move there? So if you, ask open-ended questions, so whenever you think that you are trying to make a statement, try converting that into an open-ended question, to which the person would, of course, answer yes, because you would sound so polite, like instead of sounding so aggressive and so bossy, you would sound so polite that the other person would be like, oh yeah, I should not, say no to that person. So the last point here on this screen is that if you do not have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. So this is also one very important lesson that I learned during my MPhil studies. So my supervisor recently got a haircut, and I thought that I should go and acknowledge that she has got a haircut. So she got her hair cut very short. She had very long hair before. So I went up to her and I said, "Ma'am, you look very stern by getting the haircut." And of course, I didn't know at that time that stern could mean something bad. So she was very offended by that statement. And I still remember her saying this very statement, that if you, like she said, Kanika, if you do not have something nice to say, it's better not to say anything at all. And so I have, taken that advice and I applied it to everywhere, and every aspect in my life. And I do not, I try to keep quiet whenever, because, as human beings, we have the tendency to judge people and, pass judgments and say mean statements. But it doesn't make a good impression on the people who are your audience. And instead of giving a character statement about the people you are trying to talk about, you are giving a reflection of your own self, which might be untrue. So it's better to keep quiet. And you can, of course, pass compliments if you genuinely mean them. Don't try to be a sycophant and be all praise for anyone who you do not like. If you do not like someone, keep quiet. If you like someone, genuinely praise them. So if that feeling comes from your heart, the other person will also know that you are genuinely saying something. So areas of focus. So the first point is that this could be applied on the teaching too, since I know that there are a lot of research scholars as well listening to the workshop right now. So whenever you begin as a teacher, or whether you are making any presentation or anything, you should always begin in a very friendly way. So the first impression is the last impression, we know that. But if you talk in a very polite tone, it doesn't hurt you. In fact, it can do you a lot of good. So you should always begin your conversation in a very friendly way, and you should tell them that you are open to suggestions and open to comments and open to a good, nice conversation. Second, praise the slightest improvement. So this is something which is very difficult for us as teachers. But just as Professor Balakrishnan also said, that our role as teachers has, evolved. And now we have to, do a lot of things that we didn't do before, or we were like, it was an option. But if you praise the slightest improvement in your students, or in any person that you meet, even your friends or relatives, your parents, they will appreciate you and they will be eager to please you more. So this is another point, which is a great tip if you want to improve your communication skills. Then be sympathetic to the students' desires. So teaching in a rural background right now, like after coming back from the US, I thought that I should, it's very easy to teach in a city university. But I thought that the real challenge for me would be if I go in an area which would be out of my comfort zone. So the university that I'm in right now is based in a very rural area. So the students are very different. Some of the students, belong to families who do not have proper food to eat at night. And how can you imagine that student to be be in a dialogue with you like a city student would do? A student who doesn't have access to mobile phone, how would he compete with the city student who has laptops and hi-fi technology with them? So you have to be sympathetic to the students' desires, that what is their aim in life, what do they actually want from you, what do they expect from you. So if you ask them, or not just the student, if you ask the audience, or if you ask the listener or the other person, that what are you expecting from me, in that way you will be able to deliver something which is useful to them, and also it will be very interesting for them as well, because they have asked for it. Then make the listener feel important and do it sincerely. So everyone wants to feel important in today's world. Everyone is hungry for love and attention. So if you praise the listener and if you make them feel important, that whatever you are doing for them and for their good, then it will make them feel very nice, and they will be more attentive to you. Then begin with the familiar idea first before moving to a complex one. So this is applicable in all fields of teaching, not just communication skills, that whenever you approach a topic, a new topic, instead of beginning from the very complex thought, you should begin with the idea that the reader or the audience is already comfortable with or familiar with. In that way, he will be more engaged in what you write or what you speak, because he'll say that, okay, I know this. And then you move to a complex thought, and then he'll say, or he'll feel that, okay, now this is something which is new to me. And it will generate interest in him, because you began with something with which he was comfortable with which he was familiar with. And then you have to dramatize your ideas. Like if you go on in a very boring, monotonous way, the audience will of course feel very bored, and they will sleep or do whatever. But if you dramatize your ideas, if you use hand gestures in a good way, not that you should just wildly keep waving your hands, but in a good way, and you can use voice modulations. And sometimes there are phrases, like there are a lot of psychology books and Instagram reels as well. So because our students are in a generation which is very globalized and very capitalized, so you have to give examples from their interests. So we know that they are on Facebook and they're on Instagram, and if you give examples from them, they will be very engaged in whatever you have to say. For example, if you say, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but then you say something. So if you just add this phrase, I'm not supposed to say, but your idea, then they will remember it for long, and also they will be more engaged, because they'll think that, okay, the teacher is sharing a secret with us. So if you dramatize your ideas, your communication will be much better. Then throw a challenge. You can always do that. Sometimes what happens in a classroom is that the students are feeling bored, or they think that, okay, the teacher is lecturing and he'll lecture for 45 or 50 minutes and then he'll leave. We can just sit back and enjoy. But if you throw them a challenge, they will be very attentive, and they will be more interested in learning. And so, like in today's world, as a teacher, it's very difficult to engage the students, because it's not a era of information. Like before, like about 20 years ago, anyone who had information was valued a lot. But now that information can just be learned in 5 seconds if you just Google it. So what is the need of the teacher? So the need of the teacher basically is to supplement that artificial intelligence platforms. Then you should never use any negative statements, such as you are wrong or we cannot do things your way. Instead of that, try to use positive statements. For example, instead of saying you are wrong, you can say I disagree with you, or you can present them with a substitute that, do you think this might be a better option? Instead of saying you are wrong. So instead of totally dismissing them, you have to use positive statements in your communication. So I'll not like read all of this, but we'll just go through all of these points. So active listening is one thing that you have to practice if you want to effectively communicate. So how can you do that? By making eye contact with the speaker, but you don't have to stare at them. They should not feel uncomfortable or something, but you make a meaningful eye contact with them. You nod your head, you remove all the distractions. For example, if you constantly look at your phone, the speaker will feel that, okay, that other person is not interested in what I am saying, so he will try to cut short his speech or whatever. So you do not have to do that. Remove all the distractions. Then clear expression. So whatever you have to say, try not to be repetitive. Like, it is important in the classroom to be repetitive, otherwise students would not learn. Like we cannot expect them that we say something once and then they will remember it for the lifetime. No, that is not going to happen, of course. But we have to see, like if you are making a normal conversation with a person or with an audience, you have to be precise, you have to be very articulate, and do not go on repeating things that it can make your speech or your conversation look very boring. And you have to avoid using jargons. So jargons are technical vocabulary in a particular field. For example, if you are a doctor or a teacher or a carpenter or an engineer or something, if you are making a conversation with a common layman and you just go on repeating your technical terms, he would not understand them because he's not simply from your field. So you have to make everyone in the audience comfortable, and you should try not to use complicated language for that reason. Then conflict resolution. So the best purpose of communication is to resolve the conflicts. So why do you think diplomats and ministers are so highly paid, like the people in the IFS, or the ministers who are or the diplomats who are sent to foreign countries as cultural attaches, or the all of that purposes to make peace? For example, two countries are at war and a person is sent to make peace by talking or having a dialogue. Why do you think they are so highly paid? They do not do anything, they just talk, right? But the way they talk, it is so effective that that it is a reason. And communication skills, like not communication skills, effective communication skills are so important in today's world that it can make or mar your impression, and not just for an individual but for a nation as well. So you should if you apply that in a classroom, so there can be two students who are in conflict, there can be two colleagues who are fighting over something, and if you are able to resolve their conflict, that means you are using your communication skills very effectively. Then comes networking. This is very important because you make relationships through networking. So you meet new people. For example, I am meeting all of you for the first time, and but I hope that I'll keep meeting you and keep seeing you in other conferences and workshops and seminars. And this is how we build the network. This is how we increase our networks. And networking is very important today, even more important than skills. A research paper I was reading recently said that networking is very important. Some things are such that you learn on the job while doing the job. You get the job through your networks, and then you start learning the things because nobody is born with all the skills that you require for something. So networking is important, and networking can only be possible if you have good communication skills. I admit that some of you might have great ideas. Like I can apply this on myself also. Like when I was a master's student or MPhil student, at that time there were a lot of conferences and seminars that my department hosted, and many of great people came. So many writers came, so many novelists, so many important critics. But I couldn't make an effective communication with them if I did not go in that seminar by reading beforehand. So for example, a particular novelist is coming to your campus, you have to read about what he has written. Only then you would be able to make an effective communication with them. So in that way you network by using your communication skills. Then asking questions. So asking questions, for example, two people just asked Professor Balakrishnan questions, and in that way Balakrishnan sir came to know that okay, people were listening to my speech and they were interested in knowing more about me and my teaching techniques and my life and my experience. So in that way, if you ask questions, it will be very nice, and it will give the speaker a good impression that you were an attentive listener. And it builds rapport with them too, because the speaker would always remember you. Then storytelling, this is an aspect for the speaker. If you keep just telling your ideas in a monotonous way, again, I'm using that word again and again because a lot of people have monotonous way of speaking. So if you do that, it will be boring. For example, if you listen to me, I don't claim that I am a wonderful speaker, but I do try to inculcate storytelling in my conversations. For example, I told you a lot of instances from my personal experiences. I told you my experience in America. I told you my experience as a warden, and my experience during the field work in Kashmir. So things like that. If you keep telling stories, if you present your ideas in a manner of a story, people would be more interested in listening to you. So empathy. So this is a marker of a good communicator. Now I would like to give you an example. So suppose you are just moving down a road and you just witness a terrible accident, and some of you might stop if you have time to help that person. But some of you might just leave that, okay, like this is something that happens every day. Why should I help them? What if the police comes and accuses me of doing something? Somebody, might even go to a great length and take that person to the hospital, pay for their bills, etc., etc. So some things are done out of empathy. Some things are done out of sympathy. So sympathy is when you are feeling bad or sad for somebody. But empathy is when you walk a mile in that person's shoes. So you think that, okay, if I were that person, how would I feel? So I have already given you the example of how novelists and poets and people in the literary background, think. So if they were to look at the accident, whether or not they actually helped that person in a physical or tangible way, but they would write about that person, or they would think from different perspectives. They would think, what if the person dies, and what will their children think, what will the person's wife think, what would the person's parents think? So they would make a lot of connections, and so whenever you speak, whenever you listen, whenever you read, or whenever you write, so you always keep your audience in mind, you always keep the speaker in mind, and be an empath. Try to think from their perspective. If somebody comes to you very angrily, just think that what could have made them angry. What does that person want? Does that person want just to communicate or have a dialogue, or does he want a solution? What does he want? So try to listen to them first. Try to put them yourself in their shoes. So I've always tell my students also that you should be like a cool ocean. Like if you throw a burning piece of coal in that ocean, the ocean will not heat up. It will just cool that piece of coal. So everyone should be like that. Whenever a conflict happens, you can be an empath, be like a cool ocean. So that person will come, but they will be cooled down if you are a good empath. So that is a marker of a good communicator. If you are not an empath, you cannot be a good communicator. Then I would speak a bit about barriers to effective communication before ending my presentation. So one of that is distractions. Like I said, if you keep using your phone time and again, if you are standing in an open space, and you are talking to somebody, but you are looking at the traffic lights, or you're looking at the clouds, or the birds, or the dog, or something else, so that the other person would not have a very good impression of you, and he will not be interested in talking to you. So just be an empath, like I said, and think that what if you were saying something and the other person were doing the same thing. So I use this technique in the classroom as well. So there are sometimes, whenever you begin the semester, there are a few students who are, trying to create a ruckus in the class. So I make them come to the first or come to the dais and make them speak something. And because they are not very good effective communicators at that point, they of course fail to communicate well in the classroom, and then the students laugh, or they are not interested, and then I tell that person that, see, when I was speaking you were doing the same thing, now you see how would I feel when you do this. So that person understands the whole class, understands, and then the rest of the semester moves, quite smoothly. Then lack of interest. If you are feeling a lack of interest in what the communication or what the communicator is trying to say, the communication process would fail. For example, right now there are about 40 people to whom I'm speaking, and I know that every one of you is interested in knowing something about how to improve your communication skills. If I invited people from the technical background or engineering background, or I invited doctors or something, they would not be interested. And they would create a lot of noises, or they would just switch that workshop on and go somewhere, by switching off their camera and and putting their phones on mute. So this is what most of us do when we are not interested in listening to something, this is one of the shortcomings of the virtual classrooms and seminars as well, that people do that a lot. Whenever the speaker is boring, they just put their phones on mute and leave. So that happens because of lack of interest. So you always have to make sure that when you are speaking, you have to be an empath. Again, I'm trying to say that or emphasize that again and again. Think what the other person is expecting from you, and then say what you have to say. Similarly, try to inculcate interest as a listener, and in that way you will be more effective listener. Prejudice and biases can also be a barrier to communication. Like, what if I think that, oh, this person is from a third world country, I've been to the US, why should I listen to this person? So in that way, I already have a bias in my mind towards that person. So what if that person was going to convey something very brilliant and something which might have been very important for me? So you should try not to have prejudice or bias. Then selective hearing. So sometimes you hear selectively. You do not try. I can hear some background noise. Can you please mute them? Thank you. So selective hearing is when you try to hear what you want to hear and not what the other person has to say. And that is also one of the barriers of communication. Then overload. If I just go on speaking and speaking for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, I would be just overloading you with information. So you always have to notice the attention span of the listeners and the audience and the students. Whenever you say something, you should not try to overload them with information. Then emotional state. Like, imagine that one of the students in your class recently has witnessed some death in their household. At that point, he might not be interested in the classroom. He might just be there for the attendance. So your emotional state affects your communication, process. And if you are not in a correct emotional state, for example, you might be very happy. You might have won a lottery of 1 crore rupees. And at that point, you would feel that everything else is meaningless. I should celebrate this. So somebody comes to you and say, would you listen to this? And this would be like, oh, please shut up. I don't want to listen to you. I want to celebrate. So emotional state can be a barrier to communication. If you are very happy or very sad or depressed or whatever it can be, it can affect your communication skill. Then language barrier. If I speak English, somebody else speak Chinese, we are not able to communicate well because there is no common language between us. Cultural differences, we have already talked a lot about them, that there can be cultural differences. So you might know a language very well, but you do not understand the culture. And in that case, it will be a barrier. It will be a barrier to the communication. Then rapid thought. Sometimes what happens is that you just you cannot control the speed of your thoughts. Your thoughts come so speedily, and you feel like you should tell everyone every thought, and it becomes difficult because you might not be able to speak at that pace, and then you end up making a chaos, and it's not a structured speech, and the people will of course lose interest in what you are trying to say. So whenever you speak, try to make a structure that you will say this first and then you'll move on to this and this, like you make a lesson plan. So you devote a particular amount of time to every topic, and then you say that, okay, I'll explain this topic for 15 minutes, and then I'll do this, I'll make the students do an activity, and then I'll tell them about this and this or whatever. So just like that, you should also plan your conversations so that if they are structured, the audience will not lose interest in them. Then lack of empathy. This is the most important barrier in communication skill, because if you do not show empathy, if you do not relate to the other person, you might not be, you might not be able to listen or speak effectively. So this was a very interesting, picture that I found on the internet. It says the real lesson of Romeo and Juliet is the relationship will never last without good communication. So if you have read Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, so what happens is that they have, a miscommunication. Juliet, their families were not, allowing them to marry each other. And Juliet, she said that, okay, I'll drink some cheap poison, which will make me, dead for a couple of hours. And she sends a message to Romeo that don't think I'm dead, I'm just pretending to be dead. I'll wake up after, this much time. But Romeo never gets the message. And when he sees that Juliet has died, he kills himself, he commits suicide. And, when Juliet wakes up and she sees that Romeo's dead body is lying near her, she feels very sad and she commits suicide again. And that was the end of the love story, a wonderful love story otherwise. So the real lesson of that play is just that any relationship will not last if you are not having a good communication. So you should always try to have good communication. And I've tried to give you the some tricks and tips that I have also used in my classrooms and my real life conversations as well. So thank you so much. This is my email address. If in case anyone wants to continue talking to me even after the session, like of course we'll have a question answer session, but if in case you just have more questions or queries, I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really a wonderful, ma'am. You says about the barriers of effective communication and its benefits of learning communication skill and using of effective communication skill. Everything is very interesting, ma'am. Now it's time for any queries or any doubt you can clarify with ma'am.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
This is Sagarika. This was a very, your session was a very crisp, precise, and to the point example of how on communication, on effective communication. You brought home quite a few reminders that we as not only as professionals or academicians or teachers, professors, but human beings, which we essentially need to follow to make this world a better place, because we are living in an era and we are moving on to an era where the world is the global village.
Mm-hmm.
So empathy, my takeaways from today's session will be empathy. That is the key word. Effective listening, which can make a lot of difference in the lives of people whom you interact with. I just love that anecdote of yours where you are talking about, where you gave the example of one of your students during your warden days. You know, just to be, when you feel, if and when you feel that you are heard, many a times that is good enough. That's all that you need. Many a times we need to talk to ourselves, think aloud. So when you're talking to someone, you are actually thinking aloud. And we don't have to look any further for the solution. Thank you very much for a very focused, precise, and systematic presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sagrika. And yeah, that is very right. Sometimes we think that we are making a conversation, but we are just having an illusion that we are making a conversation. The other person might not feel so. So yeah, listening is very important in today's world. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
Anybody others for any queries or doubt?
Shaista, I guess, has raised her hand.
A wonderful good evening, and Madam Kanika has wonderfully communicated on the importance of good and effective communication. So had I not spoken about and given you the feedback right now, I wouldn't have reached to the session that I just attended. And not only the way you covered up in a very comprehensive and inclusive manner, the do's and don'ts of communication. I kept the audience glued to your session throughout, and we were clinging on, hanging on to lips, words, and every aspect of it. Like, it rejuvenated the essence of communication. And as you said that your favorite quote about, like, we must, like, we know 20%, and communication is about like knowing 20% and feeling 80% about it. So I just wish, like, if you could give some glimpse of how should we go ahead with paralanguage, our tone, our intonation, our accent, because more than words, there are things that are working behind it. But then I think you had a restriction of an hour. The way you covered up, bringing out examples and nuances of communication, that was absolutely awesome, excellent. So, Madam Kanika, I mean, like, I'm full of awe and admiration for you. Thank you for this session.
Thank you so much, Shaista. You made my day. I'll have a very good night's sleep today. And about the question that you asked about what are the other things that we can, the tips that we can use to make a good communication, the voice intonations, the highs and lows of our voice. I can just suggest you an essay by G.B. Shaw, George Bernard Shaw, Spoken English and Broken English. This is the title of the essay. It was actually a transcript of a speech that he was asked to record, so that everyone could see what a good English speech sounds like, or how the sounds of the English, the standard English sound like. So it was actually recorded as a speech. So the speech is also available on YouTube. It's about 17 minutes long, and I always use that in my classrooms. In the very, first week of my teaching, I make sure to, tell the students about that, transcript, and I make the students listen to that speech. So you can refer to that. It is a wonderful example, and it will answer all your queries. So, Spoken English and Broken English. That is the title of the text by G.B. Shaw, S-H-A-W.
Just one more query, madam, if you have time. Like, we are living in the era, like the post-pandemic era, digital, right? And today we are talking in terms of digital communication, language. So would you recommend something pertaining to good communication, effective communication in the digitalized era? If there are some books, something that can be taken up.
So I think that there is not much difference between communicating digitally and communicating in person, other than the fact that you do not receive instant feedback. Like I said, that I cannot see any of your faces right now, so I do not know how many of you are actually present there, and how many of you have just put off your cameras and mics and gone off to sleep or to do something else. So the only difference is that. But I have also noticed that whenever you have something to deliver, or whenever you have something nice to say that will actually benefit the audience, then the audience would of course be glued to you, and they would listen to whatever you have to say, irrespective of the platform that you are using, whether you are communicating in a physical manner or in an online mode.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yes, Kanika ma'am, this was wonderful lecture, and we were absolutely facing at you, or we looking at you, or we were listening at you. This was really a wonderful evening with a wonderful lecture, and you have won our heart by the way you speak, the way you deliver your lecture. And I know you the very first day that you are actively participating in the classroom, and this is really a marvelous lecture. Thank you so much for enlightening us with this communication skill. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. This is Kavita. I should definitely say that the session was really wonderful, mind blowing, I should say, because it really connected to me personally, and I was able to connect it to each and every point that you mentioned about effective communication, because it was very much holistic. And you also said that how communication becomes unsuccessful if you are not being empathetic to others, with right instances from your real life examples as well, right from the cultural difference and also the experience of being a warden. It was so good, ma'am. Mind blowing, I should say. And also, one thing that I really loved about is the way you dramatize your ideas by saying you're technically, something secretive you say so that the students get it on their mind. It was so good, ma'am. So at this note, I have one query. Do you really think that a non-native English speaker is stereotyped much in a native professional setting, ma'am? Since you have an experience teaching in the USA, I think you must be the right person to answer this question.
Thank you so much, Kavita, for your wonderful remarks. And yeah, definitely, after coming back from the US, I noticed that my communication had become very better, and I could communicate more effectively and in a more interesting manner. If I compare the old Kanika or the pre-US Kanika with the today's version of mine. So yeah, definitely in the native setting, there are differences. And if you see that you cannot notice MTI in my speech. So if you look at, or if you listen to a normal, Punjabi speaker of English language, they would speak it differently. But I have, practiced it so much to, like, I wouldn't say I aim to be, or aim to pretend like a native, or I aim to sound like a native. Of course, I can do that. There are so many tips, for example, I can give you. Americans, instead of saying they say eh. For example, they won't say fast like the Britishers do, but they will say fast or class, grass, things like that. And they add the H sound a lot. So instead of saying passport like we follow the Britishers, the Britishers would say passport. But Americans, they would add the H sound, and instead of saying they would say so it will become passport. So of course I can sound like that, but I try not to do that. But I've seen that whenever I, talk in an accented way, people, give more weightage to you, and they are more impressed by you. So the very purpose of including the MTI slide, if you remember that, was basically that learning English is a good thing. So you should not be ashamed of your MTI. You should not be ashamed of using English as a language, because I know that there is a lot of politics also that goes behind it. Because we are a post-colonial country, so we have questions whether you should use your native tongue, how much weightage you should put to both the languages, to English and to your native tongue, whether you should write. So this is a question that writers also face, that for example, if a Marathi writer or if a Tamil writer or Punjabi writer was to write just in Punjabi, people in India won't understand him or her. So just forget about the rest of the world. But English is a global language. So if he wrote in English, he would gain more audience. So this is a dilemma that not just a professor or a writer or somebody in the academia faces, but every human being today faces it. So my suggestion is just to learn as many languages as you can, and pick one language and then try to be proficient in that, and then just keep on adding. So Hindi and Punjabi, these two languages were my native languages, and I have full proficiency in them. English, as you can see, I speak decent English. And then I recently learned Urdu, and I'm working on my Kashmiri language. So on my CV, I have 5 languages. And I'm also, using the artificial intelligence platforms like Duolingo and such to improve proficiency in languages like French and Spanish. So you should always, keep on learning. You should never stop being a learner. There is no harm in learning new languages, and you have to be open that you shouldn't, attach any political meanings to your learning. So learning should be pure learning. There should be no politics in that. I hope that answers your question.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think I should say you're the embodiment of, giving a best presentation.
Thank you so much, Kavita. After listening to all of your comments, I shall say that you are very empathetic audience, and wonderful listeners, all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your own session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, we will. Anybody is there? Anybody other any queries or anybody? I think there is no one, ma'am. So we will stop our session, ma'am. So, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So it's time for the third session. So for the third session, I would like to welcome the third resource person, Dr. P. Harshini, ma'am. Ma'am is working as assistant professor in PG and research department of English in Etheridge College for Women, Chennai, India. Ma'am has previously worked as professor department of English, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, University, Chennai. Besides, ma'am is an editor and a content writer. I would like to welcome you, ma'am, for a third session. So, kindly take photo. Thank you.
Well, good evening to all of you. It's almost late, but anyway, we had 2 wonderful sessions, which you were all inspired, and I'm so happy for that. And now I have to make my session more interesting, and my session is almost similar to what Ms. Kanika Bala had taken already. So mine is about communication in the modern times. Okay. So I thank the Lavender Literary Club for giving me a wonderful opportunity to be a part of this session today. So thank you very much. And please give me a second to share my screen. Thank you. So is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So my topic is about the importance of communication skills in modern times. So thank you for introducing me to the audience, and now you know a little about me. So I'll present my slides further. So see, if you just communicate, you can get by. Jim Rohn's quote was already shared. Another quote was already shared by the previous speaker. Same Jim Rohn has also said about communication. Like if you just communicate, you can get by. But if you communicate skillfully, you can work miracles. Okay, it's really true. If you just communicate, you will be an ordinary speaker. But if you communicate skillfully, you will definitely make an impact and it will create miracles in your life. Okay, so that's what Jim Rohn wants to say, and it is true also. Many people have successfully proved that by communicating skillfully, it can work wonders. Okay, so let's communicate well. So first, let's understand. See, my presentation is always comprehensive because I want my audience to understand what I'm communicating with them. Even if they are unable to understand what I'm trying to talk with them, they can at least see the slides and they can understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's understand communication. See, effective and skillful communication is regarded as a key to building good relationships. So you all will agree with me that effective and skillful communication is the key to building good relationships. Okay, the present mode of communication offers plenty of facilities and opportunities to maintain links with people around. And even now in this platform, I couldn't see that many of you are from various backgrounds, and because of technology, we have all come together and we are able to share so many things with each other. Okay, so to understand the mode of communication in the modern era, that is the post-pandemic era, there needs to be awareness of the usage of various types of technologies. There are lots and lots of technologies, and the previous speaker has also shared with you all how AI has made an impact and what are the many tools that are available to make communication easy. Okay, so the era that we live has landed us on a special planet that even spoken and written forms happen mainly through the many modes of ICT and CMC. So about ICT and CMC, we will be seeing in the forthcoming slides. Okay, so it is now a must for individuals to learn the use of Android phones, iPads, and computers, without which communication would be an impossible affair. Yes? Okay, now more than face-to-face communication, we communicate every day through WhatsApp, through the many social medias that are available. Okay, so without technology, communication is never going to be possible at all with our family members in the close circle. But if we need to communicate with people outside our environment, then we need technology as a tool to assist us. Okay, so for communication to happen in an efficient manner, it is indispensable for individuals to augment their skills and abilities in terms of usage of technologies. They have to use the technology well, and they have to augment their skills so that they will be able to communicate in this fast-paced world, okay, effectively well. Then, see, what are the essential communication skills? So there are many essential communication skills. You need to have display a positive body language. You need to have transparency and honesty. You need to have persuasion. You have to have effective listening skills. As the previous speaker also pointed out, listening is very, very important. Okay. Then professional language, we need to have, see, formal communication is different, informal communication is different. We have to understand the difference between both, and we have to communicate accordingly. Then empathy and mirroring, personalization, accurate information giving, all these are considered as essential communication skills. Okay, then see, what is communication and what is communication skills? I first want you to understand what is merely communication and what is communication skills. See, communication is a fundamental of existence. The interchange of ideas and information, whether by humans or by other living creatures, across a wide variety of mediums, from spoken words to body language, written text to painted symbols, song to dances, is communication. Okay, whereas communication skills are the tools we develop to improve and make more efficient that interchange of ideas. So can you understand the difference between communication and communication skills? See, communication to exist in this society, we need to communicate. Okay, it can be in any form, whereas communication skills is what we should develop, okay, to become efficient speakers, and we need to communicate our ideas and thoughts more effectively. That in that sense, communication skills are very, very important. For example, we ask rhetorical questions to provoke thought in an audience reader or coin an interesting turn of phrase, possibly using alliteration to maximize the impact of our language. So whatever we could to make an impact on the audience, to make an impact on the speaker, the listener on the other side, we need to improve our communication skills. Only then we will be able to work out miracles. Okay, then. See, what are the top 10 most in-demand soft skills based on percentage of members with skills who are hired into a new job? The first comes communication, which is 57.9%. Organization is 56.5. Teamwork is 56.4. Always punctual is 55.9. Critical thinking is 55.8. Social skills is 55.8. Creativity is 55.0, interpersonal communication is 55, adaptability is 54, and friendly personality is 54.6. Adaptability is 54.9. So the top is communication. Okay, so it's considered as the top among the top 10 in-demand soft skills. Okay, then see what is the theory, communication theory framework. See, there are five communication theory framework that I would like to point out here. They are mechanistic, psychological, social, systemic, and critical. So what is mechanistic? See, this means that communication is simply the transmission of information from one party to the second party. So you and me are communicating. We are just communicating information. We are just transmitting information. The first party is the sender, and the second party is the receiver. This is mechanistic communication. Whereas psychological communication, according to the psychological viewpoint, communication is simply not the flow of information from the sender to receiver, but actually the thoughts, feelings of the sender, which he tries to share with the recipients. Okay, the kind of emotional impact that you make. It also includes the reaction feelings of the receiver after he decodes the information. Also, when you share the information, you should also see how the other person has felt about the information which you have shared with them. Okay, then social is the social viewpoint considers communication as a result of interaction between the sender and the receiver. Okay, 1 second. So it simply says that communication is directly dependent on the point of speech. How one communicates is the basics of the social viewpoint. Okay, then the systemic viewpoint says that communication is actually a new and different message which is created when various individuals interpret it in their own way and then reinterpret it and draw their own conclusion. We cannot believe that all would have shared our information in a positive way. There are people who would have taken it in different ways, okay, and they would draw their own conclusion. So this is called systemic, okay. And then critical is the critical viewpoint says that communication is simply a way with the help of which individual expresses his power and authority among other individuals. So this is critical viewpoint, okay. So this is called communication theory framework. Okay, then. So the previous speaker with the beginning, she's pointed out about the 4 skills of language, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, they are very, very important actually in terms of communication. Okay, so the 4 types of communication skills are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. It has to be followed in the same order. See, listening leads to speaking, reading leads to writing. Okay, listening and reading are input skills, and speaking and writing are output skills. Okay, so the above 4 LSRW have to be read and followed in the same order of appearance. See, when we are born, we start listening. So the baby communicates only by listening to people all around. Okay, it is followed by imitation of the sounds we have been hearing all the while. So as the baby starts learning so many sounds, it tries to imitate, and then slowly and steadily starts speaking words, and then it grows to the extent of speaking in sentences, and then finally paragraphs. Okay, Speaking happens as an attempt to articulate what has been listened to. So we can understand that whereas listening is a receptive faculty, speaking is an expressive one. Okay, listening is something receptive and speaking is something called expressive. Okay, after getting the basic training in listening followed by speaking, we are introduced to script, which is of a language. Okay, we start identifying the symbols, shapes, codes, letters of the language, and once we are able to recognize and differentiate between them, the crayons come and pencil follows. Okay, we are turning literate by drawing the language on a paper. Okay, this sequence is visibly a logical order of learning communication skills. So first we listen, then we speak, then we read, and then finally we start writing. Okay, one should not try to break it if the aim is to master the communication skills. This has to flow. You have to be a good speaker, you have to be a very good listener. To be a good writer, you have to be a very good reader. Okay, so this is how communication skills work. The four basic types of communication skills are these four. Okay, then. So now I have to tell you about the role of ICT. As I shared in my previous slide, ICT has become very important. Now, information and communication technology plays a significant role in all aspects of modern society. ICT have changed the way in which we communicate with each other, how we find needed information, work, conduct business, interact with government agencies, and how we manage our social life. So ICT has made a terrible impact on our day-to-day life. Nowadays, people are in touch with the help of ICT through chatting, email, voicemail, and social networking. People communicate with each other. It is the cheapest but one of the most efficient means of communication. Okay, then role of CMC. CMC is computer mediated communication. It is also a powerful tool that has changed the ways of people's daily life, work, and learning. Okay, in CMC, people use computers and networks to communicate with one another. It makes communication across great distances and different time zones convenient, eliminating the time and geographic constraints of in-person communication. Okay, so using electronic mail, text messaging, chat rooms, web-based forums, and other technology to sustain meaningful relationship between people who are geographically disconnected makes one reconsider the concept of community as a physical location. So the role that CMC plays is really incredible. Okay, it's a powerful tool and it has changed the way or how we communicate with one another. See, you're all placed in different borders, but we are now connected through a tool and we are able to share our ideas with each other. Okay, this is where the role of CMC comes. Okay, then the awareness of meaningful channels. We also have to be aware of the meaningful channels. In the modern era, when individuals are communicating with others, they need to be well aware in terms of ways that are needed to communicate with others. You have to be aware of whom you are communicating, okay, and what you are communicating. For instance, when one has to send a lengthy documents or report, then email is regarded as significant. When you have to attach so many documents and when you have to send a lengthy note, then you have to consider only email. Okay, then whereas when one has to send a brief message, then either one can send text messages or give a phone call. When it is going to be very brief, you can just send it through WhatsApp or a text message, or you can just simply give a phone call. So therefore, it is vital for individuals to make selection of the meaningful channels of communication. So you have to be aware of the meaningful channels. See, if you are going to share a lengthy message in WhatsApp, people will not have the patience to go through what is being shared, because lots of information gets loaded in at the same time, and they will not be interested in reading your lengthy message. So if you need to be aware of where this kind of lengthy messages have to be shared, then email is the right option. Okay, whereas for WhatsApp or anything, you can just use to communicate in an informal context. Okay, like how they are, and maybe if you want to call them for a meeting or so and so. Okay, so this is how you have to be aware of meaningful channels of communication. Then, see, modernization and globalization. What impact has modernization and globalization caused on us? See, language and communication are undergoing heavy transformation. You all will rightly agree with me that language and communication is really undergoing a tremendous transformation. Okay, with advancement taking place and with the advent of modernization and globalization, people make good use of technologies and modern and innovative methods in communicating. People are making very good use of all these tools which are available with them. Okay, in order to achieve their goals and objectives, it is vital they should strengthen their communication with others. So if you want to achieve your goals and objectives, whatever the goal that you have in mind or whatever the objective that you are trying to achieve, you have to improve your communication skills first of all. Okay, eye contact and making use of polite language and decent words is a must. Okay, while carrying out written communication, they need to augment their skills and abilities in terms of usage of technology and ensure that they make use of decent words. Okay, in communicating appropriately in both verbal and written forms, it is vital for communicators to develop the traits of morality and ethics. So you have to keep ethics, morality, and values in mind when you communicate with people, and when you are communicating across borders, you also have to understand the cultural difference that is going to create. Okay, they will be communicating in a different way. What you are sending from here, they may misinterpret in a different way. Okay, so all these things you have to keep in mind when you communicate with people through technology. Okay, when you see face to face, you can, that's different thing. But when you are going to use technology to communicate, you have to be aware of all these things when you start communicating. Okay, then because it would strengthen relationship. You can either strengthen relationship or weaken a relationship. It all depends on how you are going to communicate with them. Okay, then new words and terminologies. See, new words and terminologies are encouraged to fit in the new findings of various forms of technologies. Since changes take place in languages, it is vital for individuals to understand and adapt quickly to changes. Okay, lots of changes are taking place in language, and so we need to understand, adapt quickly to whatever the changes are happening around. In order to fulfill certain goals and objectives at workplace and other formal settings, it is must that communication should take place in a well organized manner. Okay, so as I told you earlier, to fulfill certain goals and objectives, and in both your workplace and wherever the formal setting happens, you need to see that it happens in a well organized and a decent manner. Okay, with close circles like family members, relatives, and friends, communication does not usually have a specific purpose. You can communicate anything with them because they are bound to understand you. Okay, and they can take you in whatever way you are. But whereas when it comes to a formal setting, it is going to be a totally different affair. Okay, so seamless practice should be taken towards upgrading of communication skills on a regular basis. So you have to always see that to keep in pace with the modern world, you have to upgrade your communication skills as much as possible. Only then you will be able to keep up to the changes. Okay, then. So what has cultural impact? What impact has cultural impact has made on communication? See, communication is affected by culture. People belonging to various cultures are different from each other in the communication processes. In the past, different cultures have been able to make use of whatever word they want to make use of to describe something. However, because of the realization that some words are offensive to other cultures, changes have been brought out in the language. So in the modern era, the concept of social interaction has gained meaning and significance. One cannot live their lives in seclusion. Therefore, in order to alleviate seclusion, it is of utmost significance to promote social interaction. Only when social interaction takes place as much as possible, people will be able to strengthen bonds and they can make many things work. Okay, see, when the pandemic struck and when we were all in our own homes, that time our university was under impression that we need to do something for the sake of students. Okay, so that time as a department, I had to take the responsibility of bringing in people from the international level to speak in the webinars and so many other programs that we had to conduct because of the pandemic. Okay, through online. So one of the most interesting thing which I would like is to communicate. Okay, I used to have my phone always, And so whenever possible, I used to communicate with people, get connected with them, and then through them, I would ask for the people whom they know. Okay, and then I would become friendly with them, and then finally I would ask them to come and have a discussion with us, and then finally make them participate in the webinar. In that way, I was able to strengthen my bond with so many people, and now even though I have not seen them face to face, I have developed a healthy relationship with many people who across many countries. Okay, I can point out with many people, and thanks the pandemic, I was able to make it possible. Earlier, it was no way possible, and we didn't care much about this kind of technological tools like Gmeet or Zoom or whatever it is. But once the pandemic came into the world, we were able to make use of all these things. Okay, so it can be promoted only when individuals augment their verbal as well as written communication skills. Okay, so in order to strengthen your verbal as well as written communication skills, you have to practice hard. Only when you practice hard, understand the cultural differences and so many other things, yeah, and improve your communication skills, you can definitely maybe it can work wonders in your life. Okay, then see, good expressions matter. A vital aspect that enables to recognize the meaning and significance of communication in the modern era is expression. So people need to express their experiences. When an opportunity arises to share such experience with others, it helps in upgrading communication skills. This in turn leads to augment their confidence level. So your expression matters a lot when it comes to communication. Okay, you have to express yourself in a very transparent manner, that people know that you are able to share everything freely with them. Okay, so whenever an opportunity comes and when you feel that you need to share your experiences, please feel free to share whatever you have in your mind. Okay, for that you need to practice a lot. Okay, so that in the formal setting you will be able to make a very good impact. Okay, then communicative activities, the modern era, it is required to get engaged in a number of tasks and activities. You have to get engaged in a number of tasks and activities. All this needs to
Ma'am, your voice is not audible for us.
I'm very happy that when people
Your voice is not clear, ma'am.
communication. Questions, no, there is elimination of conflict and answer. You can
Ma'am, ma'am,
okay.
ma'am, your voice is not clear, ma'am. Ma'am.
One second, sorry for the interruption. My net balance got low, so I was disconnected. I hope everything is clear now. I'll start my screen again. Okay, 1 second.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
So you're able to see my slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
instant messaging is 1 second. I'll share the slideshow. Okay. So instant messaging is a communication tool that has been significant and meaningful to a major extent. So research indicates that even when certain sections of community is not much educated, still they learn to send messages. Okay, really a miracle that even people in rural areas and those who don't know much about technology, they have started using instant messaging, okay, to communicate with people, maybe in their language. And the technology has the facility of giving in different languages. So if you are unable to communicate in English, no problem, you have the option of sending in your own mother tongue. Okay, so many people are using that, and really it's a welcome move. Okay, so while some of the forms of instant messages come under social media like Facebook Messenger, there are comprehensive range of instant platforms that are not connected to social networks such as Google Hangouts and WhatsApp. Okay, so next we have SMS text messaging. SMS text messaging is one of the most critical forms of communication. It is regarded as short and informal way of communication. See, even after you send a mail nowadays, no, when the institution send me a formal mail, they use instant messaging to also communicate with me that saying that the information has been shared through email. So immediately I'll be alert and I'll open my mail and check. Okay. So it is put to best use when there is a need to give very brief messages. So instant messaging also helps when you have to share very short messages. Okay. So this communication takes place rapidly and individuals are able to maintain connection on a regular basis. Okay. Then this is where in SMS text messaging helps a lot. Then emails. See, emails are regarded as rapid forms of communication. Earlier we had only emails, and only then we got to use social media platforms. Okay. So in most cases, when individuals make use of laptops and computers, they usually communicate through emails. Through emails, one can send information in one word, one sentence, lengthy information, documents, writes up images and pictures in the form of attachment. So it takes place in a rapid manner and facilitates communication among individuals residing in other countries. So email actually, even still now, even when lots of social media apps have come, email have still not lost their shame. It is still widely used by people who want to communicate formally. Okay, where certain times when I need to communicate with well-known professors abroad, they will never like communicating in WhatsApp. They will always say, we will communicate through email. I have sent an email. So they are like only email is considered as a formal mode of communication. Okay, whereas kind of WhatsApp and other social media sites are used for informal settings. Okay, so this like that. Then so video marketing, see, this helps a great way when there is a need to market products. Awareness is needed in terms of various factors. These include not only labor market factors, need and demands of the consumer, but other factors as well. One of the significant modern communication tool is video marketing. Video marketing, like the social channels such as YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram, are utilized to promote video marketing. Nowadays, you could see so many things are promoted through social media. We would not have seen them at all, but it was advertisements in the beginning through television. Now it is video marketing through the use of social media. So the main objective is through video marketing, one is able to generate information in terms of products and services and contribute well in increasing productivity. Okay, so many people have been benefited with good business solely due to video marketing. Okay, they would market their products, whatever. If they have a small shop, like they can maybe they can arrange it, organize it so well, take a video and display their product, and they can send it to their customers through post. Okay, so lots of people have benefited. Small business have seen a very good impact, okay, through video marketing. And all you need is also good communication skill. Okay, you need to understand what your customers need, and accordingly you have to communicate. In that way many people are successful. Okay, then what else? So voice calling is regarded as even more personalized as communicated above stated tools of communication. The telephones and mobile phones are the ones that are made use of in order to communicate verbally with others. In some cases, verbal communication is regarded as more critical and worthwhile than written because of that idea that one can communicate with others well and exchange ideas and viewpoints more conveniently. See, sometimes no, when not many things can be shared through messages. Sometimes phone calls are most convenient. Okay, when you need to share lengthy information, when you want to make people understand, you cannot be texting them all the time. Okay, in that way, that context, communicate with them, people and through the messages. Okay, so therefore voice calling is regarded as a modern communication tool that is implemented by most people to a major extent. Okay, then we have blogging. A blog is referred to as a conversational styled website that enables users to publish messages, news, knowledge, and any other forms of information on the World Wide Web. Blogging also has become very popular. Now people are able to share so many views about they can write their own article, or they can share information about something else also in their own style. They cannot just cut and paste. If they just cut and paste, then the people will not be much interested in reading what they are actually sharing in the blog. Okay, only when you share your own information and when you make it more interesting, people will be regularly visiting your blogging site, and they will be reading what you need to share with them. Okay, when the messages and other forms of information is published on World Wide Web, everyone has access to it. In some cases, the individuals perform the job duties as bloggers. Research studies have indicated that in some cases, individuals write blogs on a regular basis, particularly when they are to impart information to others. Through blogs, users are able to acquire knowledge and understanding in terms of various aspects. Okay, so therefore, blogging is regarded as an important modern communication tool. Then the video chat. So video chat is a way of communication that enables both parties to see each other. Okay, maybe through WhatsApp, when you need to see someone face to face and communicate, then you can immediately go for video chat and you can chat with them. It is apparent that when the individuals communicate with each other, they are able to impart information satisfactorily and then even observe the facial expressions. See, most importantly, for observing their facial expression, people used to go for video chat. Okay, they cannot understand what the other person feels through messages. Okay, so in that case, when you just video chat with them, you'll be able to understand how they feel about the information that you're sharing with them. Okay, this communication tool is in most cases put into practice when the individuals are located at a distance. Okay, in some cases, people are not much familiar in terms of how to operate this communication tool. Many people do, like the older generation, they are not much comfortable in using this tool. But once, maybe because I have seen my aunt using video chat. She very much likes to come in video chat, but what she does is she doesn't know how to hold it properly. Okay, she doesn't know how to look into the call and chat. Okay, so there are people who are illiterate about that. Maybe regular practicing it will help them in help them greatly. Then it is regarded as useful, and one of the major advantages is that individuals are able to facilitate communication processes with each other face to face. So you'll be able to see them face to face and communicate easily, and you will also understand how they feel about what the information about the information that you have shared with them. Okay, then live web chat. Live web chats allows people to on the website to put forward questions before others and gain the required answer. Even now, when I'm communicating with you, maybe you can make use of the web chat to ask questions or share your own information. Even when you are not able to voice out, maybe through web chat you can share what you have in your mind. Only one can only consider making use of the live web chat that allow the individuals on the website to get engaged in communication processes on a regular basis. So it is the utilization of this communication tool one has to guarantee others that they will be visiting the widget on a regular basis. If it makes takes more than few seconds to respond to someone through the web chat, then it may cause unfavorable effects. Okay, so web chat is like you have to communicate with them immediately, otherwise it will cause much displeasure. Okay, therefore it is vital for the individuals to augment their knowledge and competencies in terms of the communication tool of live web chat. So you need to understand how to use it and how to communicate quickly, or so that you will get favorable responses. Okay, then technologies. See, the various forms of technologies such as smartphones, iPads, laptops, and computers are regarded as modern communication tools. People make use of these technologies to a major extent in generating information among themselves regarding various factors and in communicating with others. Apart from making use of them in communicating with others, people also utilize them to prepare documents, reports, articles, and to work on projects. Nowadays, everything has become so easy because of technology. Okay, even the tough research work that people undertook earlier, compared to them now, it is becoming very easy for people to do research work because they have so much of information. Just in by sitting in one place, they can get so many information. They can go for Google Books. Lots of things are available. Okay, so technology has facilitated all these things for us. Okay, so it is vital for all the individuals to work effectively towards the upgradation of technical skills from the initial stage. Therefore, technologies are regarded as one of the indispensable tools of modern communication. Without technology, nothing is going to get possible now. Okay, so you need to be upgraded with whatever forms of technology is getting introduced to us. Okay, then communication skills in the age of AI. This is a very, very important thing which I wanted to share with you. This is the age of artificial intelligence. Okay, and many people are really scared if AI would replace communication and or if AI would replace them. Okay, so as Mary Shelley pointed out, the greatest challenge of the 21st century is the reconciliation of artificial intelligence with human values. Okay, you see, in today's increasingly technology-driven world, artificial intelligence is becoming an increasingly prevalent force. We cannot avoid artificial intelligence. Rather, we need to get along with it. Okay, so while AI can perform certain tasks more efficiently than humans, it cannot, please note this point, it cannot replicate the emotional intelligence, personal connection, and nuanced communication that are often essential in day-to-day life. It can never replace all these things. Okay, this is a very, very important thing to be noted out. Okay, so the important improvement of AI has made strong communication skills even more important everywhere. Okay, the more AI develops, the more should be your communication skills. When you have good communication skills, definitely you will be able to perform much better. Okay, then whether it's working with AI technology, interacting with customers, or collaborating with team members, effective communication is essential for success. Whatever comes or goes, communication skills have to be practiced and developed. Okay, only when you have effective communication skills, you will be able to survive well in this fast-paced world. Okay, investing in communication skills can lead to a more cohesive, productive, and an efficient team, which can ultimately benefit the employer. You will be benefited a lot when you invest yourself in communication skills. Okay, the more you practice communication, the better will be your future. Okay, then so see, I have to really share with you here what emotions and emoticons, uh, the role of emotions and emoticons when it comes to communication. Nowadays, we often use writing as a form of quick communication in text messages and chat. These don't leave time to carefully consider how we can avoid misunderstandings of our tone. So emoticons are a very useful tool. See, sometimes if you don't want to communicate further, you can just put an emoticon like this, or you can just put it like this. Yes, it eases communication, any sort of misunderstanding. Okay, so that doesn't mean that we should start to use emoticons in books. Books shine precisely because the author has expended some effort to convey emotions without resorting to drawings or emoticons. Even though emoticons are rapidly improving and people are using it much better than what they want to communicate through words, it can definitely not be seen. It cannot be seen in books. Okay, books have their own language, they have their own style, and the author has his own style of conveying something without the use of emoticons. Okay, so the faster the communication, the more acceptable is the use of emoticons in chats and SMS. They are very acceptable and have prevented some big misunderstandings. Even for me, no, I have escaped from big misunderstandings solely because of emoticons. I should accept that. Okay, so in long emails, emoticons are less acceptable but may occasionally be used if you want to be absolutely sure that someone understands your intention correctly. Emails, no, you don't use emoticon, but if at all you use it, you have to be very careful and you have to see that the person on the other side understands that emoticon correctly. Otherwise, it will lead to a big misunderstanding and the person will not have any interest to communicate with you further. Okay, so in other situations, emoticons are not and will never be acceptable. Given enough time, you should be able to come up with phrasing that will convey your tone without the need to resort to emoticons. So you can avoid emoticons and come up with phrases. Okay, so maybe in certain situations they cannot be acceptable. Okay, then. So advantages of face-to-face communication. This is also a very important point that I have to share. See, what is the advantage of face-to-face communication is it can read body language. Okay, an authority on body language, James Bork, who is an enthusiast of body language, who is well versed in body language, he says that human communication consists of 93% body language and paralinguistic cues, well, only 7% consist of words. Okay, so body language speaks a lot louder than words. You can gain a better understanding of how a person is feeling than you could otherwise be able to through other forms of communication. So body language is very, very important. Okay, you just cannot understand, like I said, you when you communicate with people, you have to display body language like shaking your hands, then smiling, using expressions, all these things. Okay, then other advantage of face-to-face communication is it creates value. The more face-to-face communication you can have, the better. You'll have their attention 100% and your message is guaranteed to be heard. Okay, then builds relationship. In a survey by Forbes that spoke to 760 business executives, 84% preferred face-to-face communication. Out of those, 85 said that the reason was it built stronger, more meaningful business relationships. Respondents of the survey also said face-to-face meetings are best for persuasion, leadership, and engagement. Then it causes less misunderstanding. How many times has an email been misunderstood, misread, or perceived by other party to be rude when it is not? Face-to-face meetings minimize the risk of miscommunication compared to email or over the phone. Okay, so face-to-face communication has so much of advantages than disadvantages. Okay, then. So we need to increase our vocal clarity. When one is working in a multicultural environment, it is essential to lead to an increase in vocal clarity. Okay, the way one pronounces their words and uses the tone of voice will have a lasting impact on the effectiveness of the message. You need to pronounce your words correctly, and that your tone of voice also matters a lot when it comes to communicating, and it will have a lasting impact on the effectiveness of your message. Okay, some people will remember what you shared with them for long. It all depends on the way you pronounce and the tone of your voice. Okay, There are 4 simple steps that can lead to an increase in vocal clarity. One is that is slowing down, keeping language simple, checking for understanding, and taking time to enunciate. Okay. So when speaking, speak slowly, ensure that the language is clear and others are able to understand it well. Okay, then words should be simple. When you're using when you are in a high profile environment, that time you can make use of the flowery words. But whereas when you're communicating with simple audiences, so or when it comes to multicultural environment where people just need to understand the information that you're going to share, you can keep it short and simple. Okay, articulation of every word is essential to perform task well. Your goal is to make people understand what you're trying to say, so that you can use simple words and you can improve your tone of voice. Okay, then listen, repeat, and reflect. See, whether one is addressing a large group of people, speaking on the phone, or individually with others, mastering the 3 essential skills of listening, repeating, and reflecting are important. See, when one is speaking, it is vital to pay attention and adequately listen to them. So, when somebody is speaking, you have to pay attention to what they are trying to say and you have to listen to them. Listening helps the individuals to obtain answers to questions, provide solutions to their problem, and achieve their desired outcomes. Okay, so when someone is speaking, you have to pay rapt attention to what they are trying to say, so that when you will be able to ask a question and they can also come up with solutions to the questions that you have asked them. Then the skill of repeating is put into practice when the individuals are provided information in terms of complicated aspects. When the receivers experience problems in acquiring and understanding, then the senders may need to repeat that information. Okay, so when somebody is unable to understand the message that you have shared, you should have the skill of repeating. You need to repeat what you have shared earlier. Okay, so that the information gets across easily. Okay, then reflection is referred to the factor that one should think before they speak. Thinking before speaking will enable the individuals to communicate effectively. You have to keep in mind the strength of your audience, what they like, and everything. You have to reflect upon all these things before you start your communication. In the modern era, these 3 skills are emphasized upon, particularly when communicating verbally. This is very important only when you communicate verbally. Okay, in written thing, you need not worry about all these things. Okay, then work well in team. See, in many organizations, people are supposed to work as a team, especially when they need to work on projects, bring out transformation, provide solution to problems, make major decisions, organize meetings, when they need to exchange ideas and suggestions with others, and also to ensure that they are able to generate productive outcomes. So you have to work well in team. In that, you need to communicate well. Only then your points will be understood clearly. So in order to work well in a team, there are certain aspects which need to be taken into account. These include put into practice one's strengths, depict honesty in terms of weaknesses, communicate clearly and fluently, accept each other's categories, backgrounds, cultures, norms, values, and traditions, share ideas and perspectives, and ensure one works in collaboration and form amiable relationship and terms and relationship with each other. So, okay, you have to you have to keep in mind all these things when you work as a team. Only then you will be able to form good relationships with each other. Okay, because you are going to work for a longer period with them. Okay, so when these aspects are put into practice by all the team members in a well organized manner, they would achieve the desired objectives. Okay, so all these things have to be borne in mind when communicating in a team. Then make use of decent words. See, when communicating with each other in a verbal or a written form, one needs to make use of decent words. Apart from making use of polite language and decent words, there are certain words which need to be avoided. They are always, never, should, and but. Words like always, never, or absolutely are too firm and rigorous. Okay, using them, you basically promise everything is going to be all right, 100%, but things could go wrong. So you need to avoid definitive statements. So this kind of always, never, absolutely can be avoided to some extent, okay? Because you cannot promise firmly that is going to happen, okay? So the use of decent words help in promoting integration, efficient performance of job duties, and achievement of professional goals in a well-organized manner. So you need to use decent and words which will be soothing to the audience, okay? Then avoid assumptions. Making assumptions not only cause confusion but also causes delays, okay? One of the major disadvantages is individuals are unable to complete their tasks and activities on time because of assumptions. In order to avoid assumptions, there are certain factors which need to be taken into consideration, okay? They are being patient, listening carefully to one's instructors and supervisors, taking notes, if necessary, putting the information in one's own words, and conducting research through reading books, articles, other reading materials, and technologies and internet. Okay. So, in other words, in order to perform one's job duties well, it is vital for the individuals to generate information and augment one's understanding in terms of various other aspects. Okay. The development of knowledge is regarded as one of the essential aspects that is necessary in avoiding assumptions. It not only takes place through reading and making use of technology, but through effective communication as well with others. Okay, in this way, you have to avoid assumptions. Okay, because it not only causes confusion but also causes so much of delays. Okay, which is not actually a good thing to think about. Then depict manners and etiquette. It is comprehensively understood that within the working environment, it is essential for people to possess adequate knowledge and competencies in terms of job duties. Okay, when you need to have a smooth working environment, you have to see that your communication also takes place smoothly. But apart from knowledge and competencies, it is vital to depict manners and etiquettes. Okay, so manners and etiquettes are regarded to be of utmost significance for the individual in order to perform their job duties satisfactorily, incur job satisfaction, maintain sociable terms and relationship with others, achieve organizational goals, and retain their jobs. Okay. Then manners and etiquettes are depicted by the individuals through communicating with others in a very decent and respectful manner, possessing a helpful and cooperative nature, sharing with others, giving others opportunities to express their ideas and viewpoints, and eliminating various types of conflicting situations. In that way, you can maintain a healthy relationship in your workplace. Okay. Therefore, these are regarded as important skills which promote communication processes in an efficient manner. Okay. So this is very important. See, communication is not only by words, maybe all the other things also need to be considered. Okay. Then to promote effective interaction. See, within organizations, one cannot work in isolation. When it comes to a workplace or wherever you are, you cannot work alone. Okay, it is essential for the members to promote interaction. So, interaction is very, very important wherever you are. Interactions within the organizations are formal as well as informal. Sometimes, if it is going to be a very informal setting, then you can communicate whatever you like. Whereas in formal setting, you have to be aware of what has to be shared and what has to be communicated. Then formal interactions are work related, which takes place between superiors and subordinates and among colleagues. Whereas informal interactions are in terms of other topics that are not at all work related. Okay. So research states that when good interaction happens, people in workplace are able to concentrate well on their job duties and incur the feeling of job satisfaction. Okay. So when you interact well, then you will be able to concentrate well on your job, and you also will have the feeling of job satisfaction. Okay. Rather, you will, if you don't interact properly, then it will feel like you're working in a very stressful environment. Okay, so effective interactions are regarded as important communication skills in the modern era. And then depict appropriate body language. See, body language is what I've shared earlier. You need a non-verbal communication that involves body movement. Through depicting appropriate body language, individuals within the workplace can depict a large amount of information without speaking through non-verbal communication. Through your body language, you can speak a lot, okay, without the use of words. The interpretation of body language are different among individuals, but it's necessary to depict positivity throughout. So when communicating with others, the body language should be appropriate. You need to follow appropriate body language styles. For instance, one should avoid certain traits like folding arms, not maintaining proper eye contact, depicting hesitance and apprehensiveness, and not responding well. So all these will make you look like you are very poor in communication. Okay, then when one depicts these traits, it shows that one is not willing to communicate freely. So therefore, it can be stated that within the working environment, when the individuals are communicating with each other, superiors or subordinates or with colleagues, they need to depict appropriate body language. As I told you, many things are achieved through proper body language. So you have to take body language also as a perfect means of communicating something. Okay, it is not just the use of words. Okay, then use empathy. As the previous speaker too pointed out, empathy is very, very important. Empathy is referred to the feelings of sympathy, consideration, kindness, and thoughtfulness. It is the simplest form. In its simplest form, empathy is the ability to recognize emotions in others, how others feel about it, and to understand other people's perspectives on a situation. At its most developed, empathy enables you to use that insight to improve someone else's mood and to support them through challenging situations. So when you are empathetic, it works so well. Okay, when people are in a very bad mood, if you are empathetic towards their feelings, then definitely you can work wonders for them and they can come out of their stressful situation very easily. Okay, to demonstrate empathy, most of us need to be continually reminded of these steps. Talk less, listen more. If you tend to talk a lot, shoot to listen 70% of the time in each conversation. Okay, listen to connect. Let the other person go first. Let people know you understand before moving on. So all these are forms of empathetic situation. Okay, then a final note, communication in the modern era has undergone transformation with advent of technologies and scientific and innovative methods. So in order to communicate effectively, it is a must to enhance the many skills and abilities that a person is already bestowed with. We have all have good talents bestowed upon us. Only thing is we need to put it into practice. We need to communicate well. See, I have seen many people who are not very good communicators. Also, only out of their practice, they have done excellently in their job. Okay, so developing strong communication skills is essential when it comes to building a successful career. So I always used to voice out to my students also that you need to communicate well. You may have very good subject knowledge, but when you lack communication skills, it is going to have a serious impact on your career. Okay, so you need to communicate well. Only then you will be able to. Only then you will be able to be successful. Okay, so this is what I used to tell my students and all the people who are close to me. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. The floor is now open for questions.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful session, ma'am. You have said beautifully about communication skill and the age of AI and the advantage of face-to-face communication and to use the decent word for the communication. Now it's time for queries, any doubts, people can ask to ma'am.
I think most of them have left because it's already time for them. If you have any questions, please ask. No questions?
Ma'am, there is no questions. I think so. So
Okay.
we will Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your session. So we will wind. Anybody's there?
Okay.
No. Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the session, ma'am.